trying to get off nicotine pouches. Give these a try. What is going on, guys? Dr. Mike here. Today I want to present Ultra pouches.
There are some new things in the merch shop I want to let you know about. We got the tour merch. If you... Sweet, man. I get a hit of this. What do you drink, man? Do you have a beverage of choice, kind of?
Just espresso and water.
Really?
Not together, but I drink espresso a lot, and then water, and then I'm drinking whatever, a martini.
Ooh, a martini, huh?
Check. You good? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Do Indian people react well to martinis? Is your family Indian by nature?
Yeah, by nature they are Indian.
Okay.
Yeah, my family's from India. I was born in South Carolina.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wait, are we going now or no?
Yeah, we can be.
Yeah, whatever you want. Okay, wait. So, where are you from? You're from Louisiana.
I'm from Louisiana, yeah.
Okay. Because, whenever I hear someone else with a southern accent, it's almost like when I see someone that's Indian. I'm a little like, oh, I need to... But we've never really met, I don't think, properly. You were at Chris Rock's birthday party. I saw you there, but, that was a crazy thing. I didn't really get to say hi, but... Do you have that when you hear someone with a southern accent? Because to me, there's so few people. I don't have one, but I'm from South Carolina. I lost my accent. It comes out when I start talking to other people that have it. Even the guy that picked me up at the airport, he was from Atlanta, and I started, and it started seeping in.
Yeah.
But yours has stayed strong. Mine is gone, but I remember when I met Danny McBride, because there's so few people that have southern accents that are in our kind of acting Hollywood comedian
True,
world.
huh?
Strange.
I think right before our generation, it was more prevalent.
There was the whole blue collar.
Right, those guys.
Those guys, they had their run. They all had southern accents.
Yeah.
Larry the Cable Guy, definitely southern accent.
Yeah, he's going back on tour. I just saw.
Yeah, I remember when I was a kid. I grew up in a small town in South Carolina called Bennettsville. There's like 8,000 people there. No one ever toured there or anything. And I remember some kids went and saw Jeff Foxworthy, and he came to Florence, South Carolina, which is like 45 minutes. And we saw Jeff Foxworthy. That was the first time I ever heard of someone do a live comedy show.
Oh, wow.
By the way, I'm shivering a little bit because, I came from, I was in Chicago, and I had to get up at 5 in the morning, and you had a cold plunge, and your producer was like, if you want to jump in the cold plunge, and I was like, are you kidding, or are you serious? Because I'm a little tired, and I didn't really sleep yesterday, and I did it. But I'm a little cold. I shivered a little bit.
It'll rattle you. Yeah, no, I'm glad you got in, dude. Yeah, I got in. I was in there earlier this morning. I get in there because I don't want to. So I'm like, let me go do something that I don't want to do to start my day, and I take an adjustment attitude, which I need a lot. And dude, I just went to University of South Carolina. We met a chauffeur over there. His girlfriend had thrown fettuccine, like a hot thing of boiling fettuccine on him, and he had to be dude, it's crazy.
That story took a dark turn really fast. That's the last thing I expected to happen to this guy in the story is boiling fettuccine came out.
Bro, 100%. But he was
with the water, not okay, because if it was just the fettuccine, that's not too bad.
Yeah,
water in the mix too, though. That's a crime.
Yeah, it was a crime. And his neck was ripping off of him and stuff. He went through a lot. But anyway, met him. He was a chauffeur over there. Stan, he's out of the Bronx originally, but we just had him come in. He was just kind of a unique character. So, but hey, Trev, will you cut the AC off just in case? I don't want to lose Aziz.
Am I looking crazy?
No, you seem fine.
Okay, I didn't know if I was sitting there.
But no, I know what you mean. Sometimes if you get that and that AC's on, it's kind of a lot. Dude, is this true? And thanks so much for coming in today, man.
Oh, man, I really appreciate it. And, I'm not really super familiar with a lot of podcasts. And I haven't done a big press tour in a long time. Because, the last time I had something come out was during COVID. So that was weird. You didn't really do the normal stuff. And then I've been working on these films for a bit. And so before I was like, do all these podcasts. I'm going to listen to episodes, and I listened to a couple of years. I listened to the Bernie Sanders one.
Oh, yeah.
which I really liked, and to me really connected with my film because the stuff you guys were talking about, you're talking about something that I hadn't heard, where the number one cause of bankruptcy is medical bills.
Yeah.
And in my character in the film, you're never really given a clear explanation of what happened to this guy. The guy's, he's lost his job, he's sleeping in his car, but...
Oh, in Good Fortune, you mean?
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
But it made me think of that, what your conversation with Bernie Sanders, and I was like, oh man, this is really in the same kind of realm. And I loved your episode with Arnold Schwarzenegger. I'm always fascinated by Arnold.
Really?
Yeah, because I think he's so smart, and yeah, I don't know why. I think you realize, like, the more you're in this business, especially in the kind of movie acting world, to like be an actor that's kind of had a few hits, like a lot of things have to come together, and it's not an accident. You know what I mean? When these guys have this run of hits, like, they've got to be really sharp.
Yeah. Yeah, it was pretty fascinating. I guess we went to his office, and there's like his like Conan thing is in there, and like the sword. He's like,
Wait, did you meet that little donkey he has?
I don't know if the donkey was there. There was some hair on the
That's
floor.
in his house. This was at his office.
Oh no, this was his office. Yeah, there was some hair on the floor, but I don't know what it was from. And oh my God,
Yeah, there's the donkey.
Oh, because I think he's very Dutch like that or something. Oh, he's very.
Oh my God, yeah, those are mini donkeys.
They look mixed too.
I met a small donkey in Nashville once.
Oh.
First off, I love Nashville. I go to Zanies a lot when I'm like working on sets.
Yeah. Oh, I think I remember. That's what last thing I remember. I remember hearing you came to Zanies and did like 6 or 7 nights or something over there.
Yeah, and one time, one of my favorite shows, the power went out, and I had to do the show. Like, the power went out, and we were like, what do we do? And the staff there was amazing. They like immediately brought candles out, and I was like yelling my set, and then some guy like brought like a speaker and a microphone. It was incredible.
Oh, dude, I think I think it was an article or something about that I even remember. I remember seeing a picture about that, or at least just hearing about it like in local lore, you know? One thing about Nashville is, dude, it's a very small city. Like, it's small. It's like something happens, you hear about it. It's not like, it just feels like a huge town. Like
How long you lived here?
a really big town. I lived here for, I think, almost 4 years.
Where were you before?
The pandemic, I was in LA.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and I moved directly from there because during the pandemic, I remember seeing like Kid Rock's bar, and people are having a blast there. And meanwhile, like, my landlord is like making us wear hazmat suits to go get our fucking mail, and chicks, everybody's all paranoid and shit out there. And I was like, fuck this shit. I gotta fucking go,
I've always loved Nashville. I did a series for Netflix, and we filmed an episode here, and I always come here for stand-up. I did the Ryman. I'd never done the Ryman. I'd always done some other theater. I did the Ryman on this tour that a few months ago, and that's one of the best places I've ever performed. Yeah, there's that thing. They
Yeah,
just
that
said,
was it.
yes, isn't that so crazy? Yeah.
A Power Outage Force comedian Aziz Ansari finished his set in the dark Monday night, dude.
That was cool. That was like one of those cool moments. That was fun. But when I was here for that trip, get back to the donkeys. My wife, she's Danish, and she loves donkeys. And there was some fair here, and they had miniature donkeys.
Oh, beautiful.
And we sought him out, and we said what's up to him. One of them, his name was Roger, and he was born October 4th, so Roger 10-4.
Ooh.
So we met Roger, and there was another little donkey named Lily, but she was a little big. I don't know if she was a micro donkey. Roger was straight up micro. Lily was a little big. I don't know if she was micro.
At that size, I don't judge their weight, to be honest with them. You know what I'm saying? Because the bodies, there's already a lot going on, It's like, yeah, I think that, look, I think they're beautiful. I remember I met the world's smallest horse one time.
When was that, and where?
And his name was Tom Thumb, and I met him in Alameda, I believe.
And how did that intro come about?
Well, people are like, you got to go meet him and shit. And I remember I'd been in a bar.
Alameda is where? California?
California, yeah.
Okay. So you were doing a show in Alameda, and then like you gotta meet the smallest horse.
No, we'd been out there for I think I'd heard about it.
Mm-hmm.
I think I'd been in conversations about like smaller animals, Animalia generally. The world's
Whoa.
The one I met was Tom Thumb, and if you can also look up separately on Perplexity here, if you can just look up Theo Von Tom Thumb. I did a post on it. It was pretty fascinating.
What's Perplexity?
Perplexity is like a different AI. It doesn't, for me, I like it because it can help me like edit and pull clips out of things. Like you can put something in it, and what clips do you like in this? What do you suggest? That sort of thing.
Oh, well,
So it's kind of like it's like an AI, you know.
it's far beyond my.
What?
I don't know any of this stuff.
Dude, what are you talking about? Do people? How do your parents feel about that?
That I don't know perplexity.
That you don't know about the AI?
I mean, I know what it is. I don't really use that stuff much.
Yeah.
I don't really use internet or phone or anything until I get off.
Yes. Oh, here we go. Right. Let's take a video.
I am into this.
How long he gonna be here today for? He'll be here all day? How small is he?
De las grandes sonoras de Kansas, él es más pequeño que algunas clases.
Whoa.
Él es un caballito crecido.
And he's alive too?
Dark.
You don't know what people are doing, dude. But yeah, so just to let you know, I guess we have a lot of symbiosis there in our love for the small horses.
Small. What are horses and donkeys? What's that? Ask the AI. What is that called? What are that kind of animal? Horses, donkeys, the four-legged kind of. They're similar. There must be some group. The equus.
Yeah, the equus. The equine.
The equines.
But dude, when you think that God took all the beauty of a huge horse and put it into like a baby snicker of a horse, a little horse.
Yeah, there's not. Is there any other animals that have minis? Like, cause there's mini horses, there's mini donkeys. What is it? There's mini cows.
There are? Oh, wow.
Oh God, that'd be a dark moment. You go to a steakhouse, they're like, just so you know, these are all mini cows.
Yeah. It's still,
That's too dark.
I'd have a little. You know what I'm saying?
You probably could only have a little.
That's true.
There's not like a 40-ounce mini cow steak. That's not happening. It's like either 1 ounce. It's like when you go to a sushi restaurant, they have that one little piece of wagyu. this is from a mini cow. Oh my God, they're all furry. Maybe I'm gonna finish this show and get addicted to the internet because this is pretty fun. I never knew about mini cows. I didn't know. I would have just been wondering about equines, equus.
Well, look, dude, I think you could get your wife one of these. Let me see. Miniature horses rarely exceed 34 inches in height. Miniature donkeys also max out at around 34 inches.
But there's mini micro pigs. Oh wait, this is a whole list of everything there's mini of. There's mini horses, donkeys, pygmy goats. They don't call them micro goats. They prefer to be referred to as pygmy goats. Mini sheeps, micro pigs. Micro pigs I've heard of.
Imagine a mini sheep, though.
You make a very small sweater.
Yeah, you're just sitting there. Oh, dude, we gotta get some of these animals. But dude, when I was a kid, they only had big dogs, and then the dogs started getting littler. A lot of this, I think, is crossbreeding and inbreeding. You know, I grew up in a kind of not an inbreeding district, but I grew up in certainly the stray animal belt and the inbreeding belt, kind of like they run across some of the same plains in America.
Okay.
And we would see a lot of, people start getting smaller over time in the area and that's when you knew okay, people need to start walking farther or driving farther for sex, because you just knew the inbreeding was heating up. You knew the kettle was getting a little warm, when somebody'd have a baby and they could just put it on a key ring or whatever, it was like, that thing's too small, Good to see you, man, because we've never really gotten to talk, and it's good to laugh with somebody.
No, I love meeting comedians that I haven't met before. I was thinking this the other day, when I was on tour, I was, I'd bring some of the same guys out with me, and
who do you take with you? Sorry to interject.
Will Sylvince. He
yeah,
hosts
he's
a
in
lot.
the movie, isn't he?
Will's in the movie, and Ricky Velez. They came out with me a lot early this year, and then our tour manager Beth, who I love. Will especially. Have you ever met Will? Do you know Will at all?
I don't know him, but I recognized him immediately. I know him, but I don't know him well.
The hardest I laugh in my life is after shows going to dinner with Will, because he's just the most ridiculous guy, and he's so funny. Just this stuff. This is one of my favorite Will anecdotes. One time I told him, I said, I wanted to send him a playlist of some music, and he's like, I don't use Spotify. And I was like, well, what do you use? He goes, I use Amazon Music.
Oh, type shit.
And I was like, why do you use Amazon Music? He's like, because I like to download the MP3s and burn them onto CDs. I was like, this is such a unique dude.
Yeah, I mean, it sounds illegal, but it also sounds like I respect it, you know?
But all
also
I'd say, I love comedians. Comedians are my favorite people.
Well, I think in the end, it's like you have to realize how rare it is that people do it, and that we do all have something in common. you know?
Yeah.
And it used to feel like a lot more like that.
Again, it's like the Southern accent. It's like when I see another Indian person, there's something that pulls me towards them.
Yeah.
It makes me comfortable.
Yeah, I think some of that's just tribe, you know. There's a little bit
Yeah.
of like whatever's built into us.
And what a specific tribe because most people's worst fear is public speaking, and it's what we do for a living. So there's something deep inside that's a bond with all of us. Has to be.
Oh, we're like Satan's mini donkey.
Mini donkeys of self-esteem.
Yeah.
Mini self-esteem. That's why we need so much approval with laughter.
It's like if you pet me enough,
Micro self-esteem people.
yeah, if you pet me enough, I'll grow into a regular sized horse. You know?
Yeah. If we get enough laughs, we play enough theaters, or if we graduate to arenas, then we become full-size people.
This is enough. That's hilarious. It's almost like our Pinocchio story.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude, I stayed up watching the movie last night, Good Fortune. It's a new movie.
Yeah.
Dude, the amount of turns that started to happen, I'm about like, I guess maybe 45 minutes in. The amount of turns that started to happen in the plot really were making it heat up.
Oh, well, thank you.
It's
yeah.
cool, dude. And Keanu Reeves, he's like this, he almost reminds me of like a surfer dude that won Best in Show at Westminster type of vibe. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, there's a little bit of California kind of, but he's very sweet, like a little pup.
And his posture's so good. It seemed like he would win Best in Show. Like he seems like he has very good
I
posture.
never noticed his posture, but
You didn't?
no, but I remember when we first started screening the movie. As soon as he came up on screen, I could tell there was something like, whoa, this dude's a movie star. And it's not just that he's handsome. There's something, this other, there's this other thing that he has, and he's so funny in the movie. He just kills. And by the end of the movie, when I've watched it with crowds, like he's just doing the smallest thing, he's doing huge laughs. Yeah, but
You directed and wrote, and you're in it, right? You wrote it too?
I wrote it,
Dude, that's
directed,
awesome, bro.
produced, acted everything. Too much.
So you have control issues, you think?
Yeah, a little bit, but in a positive way as well. Seth Rogen's in the movie, and he does his show, The Studio, and we talked about that, about kind of doing it because he does everything on that. There's something that's kind of streamlined about it, that like, oh, I have this idea, this is how I'm gonna write it, and you kind of have. For me, whenever I'm writing something, I kind of have an idea in my head of how I want it to sound and look and everything. And directing is pretty much this conveying that to a group of people to execute it.
Yeah.
So if it's all coming from one person, and if you're one of the people acting, it does make things easier.
Yeah, man. That does make a lot of sense, dude.
Yeah, and you have other people like Seth and Keanu who, they have iconic voices. So when I'm writing, I have their voice in my head, and then when they're there, they do it like even funnier than you think they were gonna do it when you had it in your head. They add something or improvise, and the goal is really you have like the version in your head, and then you have this whole crew and cast, and you kind of convey your vision, and then they take that and then they give you something else that's something from them, and it becomes better than you thought.
How long were you guys to shoot for?
Well, it was a little weird because we shot like 1 or 2 days, and then the writer's strike happened. We had to stop for a few months. Yeah. And then we came back, and this sounds crazy when I'm saying it out loud. So we came back after the writer's strike, which was like, I don't know, 7 months or something. It was a while. And
were people pregnant and stuff? Like, was it different?
no one got pregnant, but no, everyone was still the same. But
Oh, thank God.
we shot for like a couple of days, and then Keanu broke his knee. He broke his kneecap, like on our second or third day back.
What was he doing?
It sounds insane as I'm saying it out loud, because this guy's done all the Matrix movies, all the John Wick movies, never got hurt.
Yeah.
We filmed a scene in a cold plunge, and he was going back to his dressing room. He was all wrapped up in a robe and everything, and he like tripped on a rug and fell on his knee and broke his kneecap. Yeah, they got pictures of him in the crutches here on Perplexity.
No, he broke his freaking kneecap. And were
Yeah.
you guys right there? Could you hear it?
No, it was in his dressing room. So I just heard like someone on the walkies like, "Oh, Keanu's down." I'm like,
Oh, so he went through it alone.
yeah, he fell down, and then they were like, "He's hurt," and then he came down. He was ready to film right away. His knee was like bleeding like crazy, and we're like, "Hey, man, maybe you should go to a doctor." And he was like, "No, let's shoot." He loves shooting. He just wants to shoot. But anyway, we could film most of his stuff. He had like a knee brace that we like edited out with VFX.
He didn't get that stupid one with the wheels on it.
No, he
did
didn't have the.
That
Well,
was-
it's kind of mean to call it stupid, man. People are. That's just something people gotta use.
But dude, I saw some drunk lady and her husband. They were going down Broadway in Nashville, and
I know the thing you're talking about. It's like a kind of like this thing. Yeah.
it's like a mini scooter, and then
My friend broke tore his Achilles heel, and he had to use that for a while.
yeah, it's like the X Games of being crippled or whatever.
Yeah, it's a little weird. Yeah, it seems a little silly.
Yeah, it's
But
just
he
like-
didn't have one of those. He just had a big knee brace. But we had these scenes where he, like most of the stuff, we could kind of figure it out. But there was a couple of scenes where we needed him to dance. There's the whole thing where he started dancing cumbia, and we were like, Keanu, we can't shoot the cumbia stuff. So we came back after his leg healed and shot a few more days. But it was like a 30-day shoot.
Oh wow, it's fast. That's a lot of work.
Yeah, that's not too much, but it's not too little.
Yeah. Yeah, we just David Spade and I made a movie, and I can't talk about it anymore because we've talked about it a lot. But
How many days?
23 days.
That's pretty tight.
It was
I mean, I don't know the script or anything, but 23, it's, that's a lot of work.
But over 30, yeah, we probably had a few days off in between, you know. But it was a lot. It was like the fires that happened, so we had to move, and
Oh,
then like
God.
one scene that just happens to be fire in it, and you're like, okay, well, this has to be part of it because you've already set up for the day and whatever the space is going to be. So, like one day it's crazy winds. The winds were like 45 miles an hour.
I remember that. I was in LA right during the fires. And I
Yeah,
remember
so
the
we're
day
like-
before, there was a crazy winds. I was like, what's happening?
Okay, so we're like talking about kites. We wrote that into the script. Like, yeah, we
No.
should get some
Oh,
kites.
oh.
just
You
to
wrote it in
make-
afterwards.
Yeah, just to add, like, yeah, maybe we'll get some kites after, we like threw in a line. It's like just trying to make things make sense, because you're already set up. Everybody's already driven there. The people are there. There's a lady standing there with makeup. You know what I'm saying? Like, people have washed their bodies and gotten in their vehicles and gotten over there. People have put on deodorant. People have put on clean panties and men's panties or whatever they're called, men's underwear.
They put on their undergarments and they
Yeah.
showed up.
And
And
they
it's a lot of people.
Yeah.
And it's crazy because, you write these random things and then all these people get to work to do it. And it's like some silly joke about a pillowcase or whatever. Like, oh, which
Ricky's a
pillowcase do you
bitch
want to
or
use?
whatever. Yeah, sometimes it's something as dumb as that. Like, all these people will drive to one place just so somebody can be like, Ricky's a bitch. And you're like, okay, that's lunch. You're like, that fucking took 4 hours? God, and Ricky's not even a bitch anymore. He's had a surgery by the end of the day. You know what I'm saying? So everything's changed.
It blows my mind that, because it's like stand-up, you do these things and you're just on a mic and there's people there listening. But when you write a joke for a movie, there's all these trucks, everybody's showed up. It really makes you pause for a second. I don't know if you had this thing where you're like, oh man, this is a lot. I hope this is worth it for these people.
Oh, yeah, I remember the first day we got to set. I was like, holy shit, I thought this had just been a bunch of emails, And it was like all the emails that come together in real life. Like, there was trailers, there was somebody got electrocuted. Yeah. But it was like everything, you were like, oh, people are acting. There's some guy practicing his things. They're like firing an extra. Like, all the shit was going on, like some guy's just like, had bought the wrong peanut. Just all the shit's happening, There's no coffee. There's always no coffee when I got over there. It's fine. But it was just like, it's fascinating to see it happen. And it's one of those things that has to, like, it's so expensive to do that you have to get it done on that day. It's like, whatever elements come, if somebody breaks their leg, if somebody goes missing, you have to, for an hour, you have to like shoot around. It's just all these little things that kind of go on,
I was telling someone, 'cause people always ask me, like, what's the difference between doing stand-up and doing a film? To me, doing stand-up, it's like you're running around a track, and you go, hey, I'm ready to go. And then you go to all these cities, and you run around the track, and you're done. And a movie is like, you have to go to these people and go, hey, I want to climb this mountain. Can you give me money to climb this mountain? And they're like, let me see your plan. Which is like your script. And they're like, well, we can give you this much. Oh, that's not really enough supplies. And then they're like, well, can Brad Pitt climb the mountain with you? Can you get, these other famous,
Yeah.
and then if you're lucky enough to even get to start climbing the mountain, then people just start throwing boulders at you. Hey, here's the writer's strike. Hey, there's the fires in L.A. Oh, wait, Keanu's broke his kneecap. And it is
There's a positive blood test. You're like, oh, that's rough.
It's all just,
Yeah, it
you're
is.
just trying to avoid all these different disasters, and if you're lucky, you make it to the top. But it's so much harder there's so much more to that's out of your control.
Yeah.
Stand-up is so
in your control.
yeah. There's something so pure and beautiful about stand-up. I like doing both, but there is something so pure and beautiful about stand-up where it's just literally a person talking in a microphone. It's kind of such a pure and direct art form. And filmmaking, there's so many other things that are out of your control and it's a lot more complex, but it's rewarding in its own way. I mean, I think about how, I'm working on other scripts now, and I'll have some joke, and it'll be like, whoa, this will be maybe years from now before I'll see this joke play in a theater and hear a crowd of people laugh. And then a stand-up joke, you write, you think of something tonight and go to a comedy club and try it and hear it get a laugh, and that's so satisfying. But there's also something crazy about, like, I remember I started writing Good Fortune, like, probably in the pandemic. I started writing it on and off. And there's jokes I wrote in, and then years later, it's like, I'm in a theater in Burbank, and Keanu Reeves is saying the joke, and, the crowd full of people go crazy. And they're both amazing, but in different ways.
Yeah. It's so wild, dude.
Some flavors just take you to another place. Like the Filet-O-Fish, a crispy fish fillet made with wild caught Mexican pollock on melty American cheese topped with tartar sauce, all on a soft steamed bun. It's crispy, flaky perfection. And right now, I can mix and match two favorites, like a Filet-O-Fish or 10-piece chicken McNuggets for just $6. This dinner is the peach of the day. So get your McDonald's fast. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba. Prices and participation may vary. Cannot be combined with any other offer or combo meal. Single item at regular price.
It's pretty much a fact that Prize Picks is the best place to win cash while watching sports. And with football season fully underway, there's no better time to join Prize Picks. One thing I love is that the app...
Well, I mean, right now it's so hard to get any movie made. They all feel like, oh man, I hope I can make this. I've got two movies that two other scripts that I've written. I had this movie with Bill Murray that I was doing that got shut down. I want to finish that.
Why? What happened?
Oh, well, Bill Murray was part of this movie we did called Being Mortal. Being Mortal is a book by this gentleman named Atul Gawande. It's all about, like, end-of-life issues. It's about stuff, that people my age are dealing with their parents. Maybe not all people my age, people, they're getting sick, you gotta put them in retirement homes, you gotta figure all this stuff out. Very, very interesting book. It's about, very highly recommend this.
Have you met Atul Gawande?
Yeah. I had to talk to Atul to get rights to the book, and when I decided to turn in the script, he helped me, and
Is he
yep,
cool?
there he is. Very cool, very smart guy. And so I thought, okay, this is like the book is not fiction, but it's nonfiction. But I was like, oh man, if you turn this into a story, there's things that are funny, even though it's dark, Like, there's things that are funny about, like, you have to go, like, take your parents to, like, or your mom or dad, you have to take them to all these different retirement homes. And, like, they, all these people in his book, they'd always be like, I want to be in here, everybody in here is old.
Yeah.
It's like, that's people's perspective. It's kind of funny. And just like how out of depth you are talking to these doctors. Doctors talk to you like, these super complicated things. They're like, anyway, so what do you want to do? If you do this, he might be paralyzed, but if you do this, you're like, wait, what?
Yeah, but if you do this, you might be able to do a backflip, and you're like, well, that's a mixed bag.
It's so, you're just immediately out of your depth. But anyway, I read the story and I read the book, and you notice these patterns. Like the parents are like, "No, I'm fine," and then they like drive their car through the house or something, and then you're like, "Oh, you gotta take people home."
Yeah.
You know, that kind of thing.
But that's really how it happens, though, for people.
It's really how it happens, and I was like, well, if you did a story about this, and the guy was Bill Murray, that could be really funny. And really poignant, because he, you know, I think about him in like Lost in Translation or Broken Flowers, and he's one of these, he's got this rare ability to be so funny, but so grounded and touching and sincere. So I wrote the whole thing with him in mind. And there was no like, oh, I'll get another guy. It was like, this movie only works in my head if it's Bill Murray. I can't think of anybody else. I wrote it, and he's like, famously the hardest guy to get a hold of. To
Yeah, you can't even get him.
Yeah, I knew him a little bit socially. I had his number. I call him. He answers the phone. I said, hey, I have a script that I wrote. You know, I said hello, whatever, and we talked for a minute. And I said, I was calling you because I wrote the script, and I think you'd be great. And he's like, oh, that's wonderful. You know, mail it to my house. Very old school, like print it out, send it to my house. So I sent it to him. He calls me like a couple of weeks later. He's like, yeah, I like this. Can you send me the book? I sent him the book. He was really into the book as well. And we eventually set it up. Seth Rogen plays the son. Keke Palmer playing Seth's wife. And we shot for like 3 weeks, and then something happened on set where Bill was inappropriate with someone that was working on the film.
Or something about
Yeah. Yeah.
And was it real or was it fabricated? Who knows?
I mean, something really happened.
Okay, so
Yeah.
something occurred
I
and
don't
people
wanna
felt
get
their
in-
ways about it, right?
Yeah, I don't want to get into it
For
too
sure.
much because it's not my story to tell.
Because something happened on
But
set,
something
and you had to
happened.
shut the movie down.
Yeah, he had a mask on, a COVID mask, and this is from what I understand. He had a COVID mask on, and he was trying to be funny, and he was kissing this woman that he was friends with the mask on, trying to be funny, but this woman didn't like this and was upset, and eventually it turned into this whole thing, and they shut the whole movie down. Yeah. Yes, this is what Bill said at the time. I did something I thought was funny and wasn't taken that way. Blah, 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 blah.
The company, the movie studio wanted to do the right thing,
Yeah.
so they wanted to check it all out,
So
investigate
the
it, so they
whole-
stopped the production.
Yeah, the whole movie shut down.
Damn.
So I'm sorry, I shared the 75. It wasn't 75%. We shot like half of it. But anyway,
But
I can't remember how we started on this. But that, yeah, I'd love to finish that at some point. You know, if we can, because you know it was very special. But
Gosh,
you
that
know,
must have been heartbreaking for everybody.
it was, but it was one of those things that was so crazy. I don't think I ever fully processed. I mean, you want to know something crazy? I remember the week it happened. I was getting married that summer, and my friends had they wanted to plan some sort of bachelor party for it. Not like I'm not like a hey, let's go to the strip club kind of guy. They were like we were gonna go to a restaurant, go to the spa or something like
Yeah.
that, like a very silly kind
Go
of
to
thing.
like a mathathon or
And
something.
yeah.
Something calm.
What's a mathathon? We just
Where
do a
people
bunch
are
of
doing
math.
math, yeah.
Is that a real
recipe.
thing, or do you just make up that word?
I don't know, but I could see for some reason I just
You,
think
you think that's what I'm into? No, I'm not into mathathons. Wait, it's a real thing. It's a fundraising event where you do math. Wow.
yeah, it is. Zuckerberg was a mathlete. Andrew Wang was a mathlete. No, Alexander Wang was a mathlete. A lot of those tech bros were mathletes, dude.
Alexander Wang, the fashion guy?
No, there's a new one.
A
That
new
guy-
Alexander Wang?
That guy died or something, I think.
Wait, I don't think he did. This is a different guy.
This is
this is a Gen Z billionaire. This is Alexander without the E.
A Wang, they call him in the streets, boy.
Whoa, he's 28 years old.
In the tech trenches, deep in the
Is
modem.
this screen with the guy looking stuff up with you around all the time, or just when you do the podcast?
That would be so great.
Because I'm the opposite of this. I never look anything up. You know, I don't. You know what my wife said to me yesterday? I don't keep a smartphone on me. I blocked all the shit on the internet. I don't really use the internet. So sometimes I'll just ask my wife stuff the same way you're asking this guy. And she's like, you know, I'm not the internet. I'm your wife. Because what I'm secretly asking without asking is like, can you look that up for me? Because
Yeah.
I can't look it up. And she's like, I'm not the internet.
Dude,
It was a dark moment.
You married just to have the internet. That's so great.
I just needed to have a smartphone without having one, so that's why I got married.
Dude,
She
that's
said that to me. I'm not the internet. She loves me very much. We were just texting about how much we love each other. But
it sounds like you. Look, we believe all that.
it's tough, man. It's tough. I mean, I've you
Dude,
know,
you're crazy.
I've gotten lost and had to call her and been like, hey, where
Where are we?
I'm
Yeah.
here. I can't find a because I live in London and there's
You live in London?
yeah, most of the time I'm there because we met in London. We lived there and
Oh, your wife is in London? Is it
don't
London?
pull up the ex-girlfriend. She's in some.
See if
Please
somebody's
don't
wrong.
us her wrong. But anyway, we live in London. We met there, and you know.
Does she speak Danish as well?
Yeah, she speaks Danish, and I love languages, but Danish is pretty tough.
Is it?
It's tough, yeah.
Is it romantic? Is it considered a romantic language?
Oh, this gets us back to the donkey thing.
Okay.
So she said
Okay.
that I was like, well, what's like a Danish term of affection? Like maybe we can use that. And she said it was like skit, and I was like, that sounds harsh. That doesn't sound very sweet. And we were somewhere where we saw a donkey, and I said, what's the word for donkey? And she said esel. And she said
Essel?
esel.
Essel.
And she said it was her first word, and that she loved donkeys. And I was like, well, why don't we call each other that? And so we started calling each other that. Yeah,
Esel.
and now I have, you see that AE, that's here on this chain, the AE, and that's what led to us meeting the little mini donkey in Nashville,
Ooh.
where we are now. Boom.
God damn.
Eso.
Esel.
Esel.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, you're my little Essel.
Yeah. Exactly, but
Just like that.
yeah, it's pretty close. Yeah, that's it.
Pretty close. What
I
are
mean, no, you
talking
said it right. You're actually saying it better than I do. You're doing the AE, the combined AE. Yeah, that Danish is, you know, it's like, wait a second. Now we're coming up with new letters.
I
You're
know.
combining the A and E. I'm, you know, I can speak Italian, okay. My family speaks Tamil. It's an Indian language. I can speak that a little bit.
Well,
But Danish it's a tricky one.
well, a lot of them are mixed, are cis and bi gender now. Some vowels are. Like there'll be a vowel that is trans now. Like you're.
It's
how do I-
changing identity.
Yeah, it's like.
What's the other one? The AE.
How do we even pronounce you, bro? That's all we want.
Hey, we just want to show you respect and
Yeah.
do it right.
Do whatever you want, but just we just need to know how to use you in a word. And some vowels now are like, I don't want to be in your fucking words or whatever. And we're like, bitch, or sir, just be in the fucking word, dude. You're a letter. But that's where it's at now, man.
Dan, it's tough because we'll be
Oh,
there.
that's not a real thing.
Which thing? The
Isn't
the
that-
O with the circle?
Elon's kid's name?
I don't know.
Eso.
You're saying it right. That's pretty good pronunciation.
Thanks, Jay.
No, and whenever we're in Denmark and I try to read a word, I'll try to pronounce it right, and it's just I just don't know the pronunciation rules. I get everything wrong. But wait, how do we start talking? Oh, because I use her as a phone. Sometimes I'm walking around in London, and London there's a lot of like maps on the street.
Mhm.
So if I get lost, I can find the map and kind of make my way. But sometimes I'll like keep walking around hoping to run into one of these maps, and I won't run into one, and I have to call her, and I'll have to be like, hey, I'm over here. You gotta tell me how to get to the tube station. And I remember that even when I first came to LA, I don't know, whenever you first came to LA, how long ago it was, but you know, there wasn't GPS and stuff. GPS was like a fancy thing if they had it at all. So I would like print out directions on MapQuest. And I remember, you know, I would call my little brother. My little brother is a few years younger than me. He was still in South Carolina, and I'd call him and be like, hey, man, I'm on Cesar Chavez. How do I get back? Because we didn't have the stuff. When you came to LA, was it like that?
Yeah, dude. People had maps, drawings. You'd have a guy who had directions tattooed on his arm of how to get home if he was an alcoholic or whatever.
Oh, my God.
Like, shit was definitely more primitive back then. People would, like, just write on their dashboard how to get home. Like, yeah, people had to remember. Remember when you just remember?
Everybody's phone number.
Yeah, but also when somebody would give you directions, dude, and if you missed one of them or something, and you were going to a party, you just drove around their neighborhood for an hour and then went home. Like, you would drive and roll your windows down and see if you heard a party from the backyard.
Yeah.
We're basically like a bunch of like Magellans, you know?
And it's strange to think there's people that grew up without knowing that at all. And it really does seem nuts that we were able to be okay without it. You know?
Well, it's like you imagine now, it's like when you're at the airport and nobody's gonna go through TSA, right? Because that's how
Oh,
it
I
was.
barely remember that. Like that you could go up to the gate and all that stuff. You know, all of my travel, you know, I started doing comedy by the time I was touring and stuff and traveling all the time like we do, that
So
was
you were
after all
already
this
big
stuff.
touring when you started doing comedy, or no?
No. I'm saying like I didn't start traveling a bunch, you know, touring and doing all this stuff until after TSA and all these kind of
got it.
things. You know, I barely remember traveling. I wasn't on that many, you know, I wasn't flying all the time like, you know, I do now. So I barely remember that time where like you could walk up to the gate, you know?
I might not even remember it, actually.
Yeah, I mean, that all happened after 9/11, so it was after 2001, you know?
Yeah, maybe a couple flights I'd taken probably, but yeah, dude. Imagine if we went back to that now. Would you think, say right now you go to the airport, there's no TSA, would you trust everyone enough to be like, okay, we're all gonna fly home together, guys? Does everybody promise they're not gonna cause any problems?
I mean, I don't know. It's wild times right now. I don't know.
And they would ask you twice,
I mean,
probably.
I was in the airport these past couple days, and you know the government's been shut down. Those people are they're working for free. Like
No.
guy was like, "Hey, just so you know, guys, we're working for free." And I was like, "Oh my god,
It's unbelievable.
it's wild."
Yeah, the government's just turned into like a shitty vehicle. It's like every now and then it just fucking shuts down or whatever.
Dude, I mean, you gotta understand. For me to like be in London and read about all the stuff happening here, and then come here, like I was in Chicago yesterday, and so my friend's like, "Wild time to be in Chicago." I was like, "What do you mean?" They're like, "Oh, the National Guard's there, just grabbing Mexican people." I was like, "What? What? When did that happen?" I'm just over here trying to tell people about good fortune. And they're like, "Yeah, they're grabbing Mexican people, and the National Guard's there." And, TSA. Oh yeah. What are you getting on a plane later to fly to Nashville? Oh yeah. The government shut down. Like most of the air traffic people went home. Oh great, thanks. Yeah, it's okay. I'm gonna fly to Nashville and then get on another plane back to New York same day. Cool weekend to be on all these planes.
Yeah, you're like, it's just the bad news bears of TSA
Yeah,
right now.
You got all the people that are like down to come and work in for free.
Yeah, dude, you have just like the militant
Oh, my.
guy. You have the guy who's been waiting to get in the game, like like no training, but just fucking waiting to get
I'm
in the.
flying back today. This is gonna be a really dark last interview snippet. And here's a clip where Aziz predicts.
Oh my god, bro, that's so hilarious that there's like backup of everybody's backup right now. Like the park wardens are like, bro, welcome to the fucking park, bro. It's like, it's just like the second string, dude. He's like, dude, the owls are fucking monumental right now, bro.
Take all these people for granted.
That's so true, huh? Well, the raids and stuff like that are crazy because they let so many people into the country, right? Like without having a pattern of like, this is an organized way to do something, right? Because I think they need to organize it. It needs to be organized, right? Because it's odd if people are here that they live in fear that they're always going to be like, they, you know, found out or something, and then it's odd that that there's nefarious people here that don't want to be found out, you know? So I think like they need some organization of it. But yeah, the fact that it gets like where people are being ripped out of places, and then you don't know also some of these days, I really believe you don't know what's real and what's not when you see it sometimes. Like it could literally be a scene that was put together, like some of like the Antifa stuff you would see in the park during the pandemic and shit.
I watched that movie. You see One Battle After Another.
It's good.
It's amazing, but it's crazy because you know he wrote that movie a long time ago, and it's like I was in Chicago and I was like, damn, this is one battle after another because you know in the movie it's very much like a military state, and like the military is just you know around going and doing this kind of stuff, and it's kind of wild. The dude, you know, he's supposed to have been working on the movie for like 15 years or something. And it's out now when this stuff is you know so top of mind, so in there, you know.
Yeah, Eddington was really great. You see Eddington?
I didn't see Eddington, but I've heard it's kind of they're dealing with similar stuff. I need to see that.
Yeah, just a lot of things happening at once. But I believe we're headed to a surveillance state. You know, I believe that that's why they're trying.
That happened like a long time ago. No,
Drones, bro. I'm talking about drones in the sky surveillance, like that vibe.
oh my god! I mean,
Like that's where we're headed. Like, dude, the movie I want to see. This is how I think it ends. Blacks versus drones, dude.
what?
That's how it ends, bro. That is People are wondering, how does this all...
Where do Indian people fit in? We're just running the door. Okay, then where do the Indians fit in this movie?
Okay, we need Kyrie Irving to move over to the... just like...
Was he okay? Because he played basketball?
No, I mean, I'm just thinking of a cool black guy. But yeah, you're like, okay. But dude, that's how it ends. Like, I think everybody's like, well, what's going on in society, and like these different groups and people back, and like, you know, genocide, all these stuff going on, and you're like, how does it all? And I think it's Blacks vs. Drones.
I don't know.
It's gotta
but
be.
As someone that used to live here and now comes here occasionally for work, every time I come back, it just feels wild. And I think it feels wilder to me because I think for people that are here, it's like, oh, they're slowly seeing it get crazy, so they're not going from like 1 to 100
100%.
like I do. Like, you know, my time in LA, you know, I remember, you know, just seeing the amount of tents and all that stuff, you know, going to LA and in New York after COVID, because during COVID I was in London the whole time with my wife. So coming back to both those cities after COVID, I was like, whoa.
Yeah, it's like a Slipknot tailgate out there now, you know? It's fucking crazy.
You know, my wife loves Slipknot.
You're lying.
My wife has a PhD in physics.
Or how?
She's a genius, and she loves. It's like she had this emo phase, and I every now and then I'll just bring up that she loves. My two favorite facts about my wife. She's gonna hate that I'm bringing this stuff up.
No, it's important.
One is that she loves Slipknot, and the other thing is that she was Little Miss Denmark.
Ooh.
That was a little competition for little kids when she was like 5, 6 years old, and she won 2 years in a row, and then they stopped the contest
No.
because she kept winning.
God. They shut it down?
They shut it down.
What, they don't like somebody really stepping out of the norm
I
there?
think they were just like, we shouldn't be doing these little pageants for these kids. And my wife, she said like they would have a, you know, like, oh, you'd have the talent portion or whatever, and she would be like, you know, doing her dance or whatever, and they're like, all right, that's good. And she's like, no, I'm not finished with my routine.
I don't mean to be an asshole,
Yeah.
but I'm about to win this
Then they
bitch
stopped
for
her.
a third time, dude. Holy shit.
Stopped
She's
it.
like the Boston Celtics of those fucking Danish competitions,
Yeah,
dude.
and then she had her emo phase and got really into Slipknot.
Hey,
Rebelled against the pageant life.
you shut down a pageant queen like that, where they can't even perform anymore, that is a direct avenue to slip.
Corey understands.
How else do you even manage that sort of stress and strain? Where are you gonna put those fucking pirouettes, bro? You're gonna package those bitches and put them into a Slipknot mosh pit. In the past, I've struggled with wanting to invest. You know, I don't know enough. You hear about this and this ETF or this.
Little Miss Denmark. My wife's gonna be thrilled.
Oh, that's awesome. I'm glad you found love out there, man. Did you, were you good with the ladies growing up? What was your energy like?
Well, I grew up in. It's weird because I grew up in South Carolina.
I remember every school, like in the South, kind of had an Indian guy. Was it like that at your school? Was there a big Indian group?
Well, so there's two versions.
Okay.
There's like, oh, if you're in like Atlanta or something, there's like the Indian crew, and they hang out.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's what I grew up in, which is like just me. And when I was little, I kind of forget this sometimes. In like 1st and 2nd grade, there was this Thai girl, and her name was Tisha. Which doesn't make sense. That doesn't really sound like a Thai name, but her name was Tisha. But they left.
Kind of a black tie.
It's,
Affair.
It sounds like a black tie.
It sounds like a black tie
But
affair.
She was Thai. And but they left, and then it was just me as Indian, and it's in the 80s, and you know, it's so interesting to look back. I was thinking about this, and I had a conversation with my mom a while ago that really like blew me away. So first off, as soon as I tell people I grew up in South Carolina, they're always like, oh, must have been so racist, all this stuff. And of course, there's moments where it wasn't nice and
Like people
whatever.
calling you almost N-word or something like
Oh,
that?
N-word, not almost.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Well, those people are nearsighted or whatever. I feel
I
like.
don't know.
That's crazy.
But there was also, I feel like, you know, there was a time I was writing something and I asked my parents to just tell me, like, I didn't want to write stuff about people being racist to people. I wanted to write something positive. So I was like, tell me things you remember that were positive, like experiences you had, being because my parents are there in the 80s.
Yeah, for sure.
They don't. People there didn't even know what Indian people were. They didn't see them in the culture. They didn't see nothing.
Yeah,
they
it
didn't
looks like
understand.
It looks like a black person that they didn't finish the job on or whatever. Kind of, no
That's,
judgment.
Let's just make sure that quote is attributed to you.
But
But
for sure. But I think it's like, because sometimes you do see that Indian dude, you're like, is this a black dude or an Indian
this
dude?
is, but we're joking, but it is what people would say. They had never seen Indian people before.
Yes,
and
I
they were
agree.
not in the media or anything. And so my experience, I'm talking about the positive stuff. First off, I skipped first and second grade. I did first and second grade in 1 year. So people were like, oh my God, this genius little brown boy. And so I was like, I was in a small school. There was like 30 kids in my class. There's 8,000 people that live in my town.
Yeah.
But I was raised by my parents, but
First grade's fucking easy.
first grade is easy. My dad would like
The
show
fact
me.
that it takes a whole year, you're like, what the fuck are we doing?
My dad would like write little math problems and stuff for me, so I was really advanced in like math and stuff.
It's so
in the
easy.
middle
Go
of
back
first
and look
grade-
at it.
Yeah, no, you should be able to teach your kid all that stuff
You
before
can
they
even
get
eavesdrop, you can tap into like classrooms, you can watch it. It's like, this is so fucking easy, dude. I wish I had a ring camera in there and just be giving the kids the answers and shit.
What?
It's yellow. If they had like one of those ring cameras you could talk in like a children's class or whatever.
I mean, back then, no ring camera. Just had my dad teach me stuff. So by the time I was like halfway through first grade, they called my parents. They're like, you got to get him out of here. He's got to go up to second grade. And so I went to second grade, and that was like this big story in the school that some
for
kid had skipped a
sure.
grade.
Yeah, it's like when LeBron left Miami.
It was exactly like LeBron. I was like LeBron with like very elementary math problems.
Yeah, LeBron.
Yes, exactly. And but when I was thinking back about my childhood and talking to my parents, and there was these two ladies that took care of us. First off, I was talking to my mom, and she was talking about how when she came to South Carolina, my dad had been in America. He was in New Jersey doing his residency. Then he went back to India, married my mom, and then they came to South Carolina, where my dad moved, because he applied for these jobs all over the country, and in South Carolina, they didn't have a lot of the doctor he was. He was a gastroenterologist. So then they moved to South Carolina. My mom comes to South Carolina. This woman's never left India like this.
Fuck, that's crazy.
She's in Bennettsville, South Carolina. Not like, oh, you're in New York City. No, Bennettsville, South Carolina. And my dad brings her home, and then he has to go to work. And I asked my mom, I was like, what was that day like? And she was like, and I put this in my show. She said, oh, I just sat on the couch and I cried. And I was like, oh my God, it's so dark. It was like so much braver than I could be, I mean, there's no FaceTime, none of that. You're really alone. It was
There's
hard to
cable
even,
television.
yeah, but I'm talking about like to have a connection with your family or anything. There's no
great.
way to
You're right.
communicate.
You're just praying and like lighting candles and putting those oranges in that little thing.
There's no, even like making a long distance call was a different thing back then.
Yeah,
they
it
had
was like
something
$11.
different. Yeah, it was not the way it is now, where you could, so she was really alone. But she used to go and do laundry all the time to just be around other people.
Yeah.
And there was some lady there, an older white lady, that recognized that, saw her with me, and became friendly with her, and they called her Grandma. I don't know the woman's real name actually. And I called her Grandma, and she would take care of me and like kind of looked out for our family. And she eventually, I think she moved or something or whatever, but she couldn't take care of us anymore. And this woman, who we called Nana, is what her grandkids called her, she started taking care of us. And then there was this woman named Miss Beulah who would take care of us after school.
She has some tits on her, I bet.
Miss Beulah, rest in peace. I'm not
she
going to
passed
comment
away?
on
My
that.
bad.
Yeah.
I didn't know that, and I hope.
Let's not. But
Yeah,
Miss
and I'm
Beulah,
sorry.
as you might guess from the name Beulah, black woman from the South, and would cook the meanest Southern food for us. So I would eat Indian food and Southern food, and so Nana and Miss Beulah were part of my life, and I had a sister that passed away, and she was a few years younger than me. She had a very rare. She had a something called Hurler syndrome. It's a super rare liver disease. Sorry, it's obviously a little heavy for me, but so she passed away.
What's her name?
Her name is Nafis.
Nafis. That's a pretty name, huh?
Yeah. And she passed away, and Nana passed away a few years ago when I was in college. It was a while ago now, and I didn't get a chance to. Miss Beulah, I got to say a proper goodbye to. I went and saw her when she was staying in a retirement home. Nana, I didn't have that same moment. I was in college, and it wasn't the same kind of thing where I had that opportunity to say bye. But my mom had told me that she went to go see, visit my sister at the cemetery, and my sister's buried in South Carolina in Bennettsville, and that is a tricky thing because my family's from a Muslim background, and they wanted to do. They were asking the cemetery, "Can we do the things we do for our culture?" And the cemetery was like, "Yeah, of course, whatever you need to do," which is just so cool to me that they were open to that, and the whole community, were visiting our family and everything, and I remember even like a priest came by to just even though we were a different religion, he came and like wanted to talk to us and stuff, and everyone was just so kind about it, and my mom told me that she went to go see my sister at the cemetery, and she said, "Oh, and we saw Nana too." I was like, "What do you mean?" She's like, "Well, Nana's buried right next to her." No. And I like melted as a human because I did not know that, and to me, like, I heard that and I was like, wow, like, I was saying all this stuff about crazy this country is and how crazy it feels right now. But that story, that doesn't happen anywhere else in the world, man. Like, those two people, my sister and this woman
That
Nana,
befriended you guys.
yeah, have that close a bond where she's like, I want to be buried next to her. I mean, it was.
Wow.
I did not know that, and I heard that, and I was like, I don't know why it popped in my head, but I'm so glad it did, and that I got to share that with you because I heard that story, and I was like, man, people need to hear that story because it's not the story people
Want to tell. Oh, it's not the story that the media wants to tell. It's not a story that.
It's a story that doesn't really get the clicks.
But it's the story that's probably. It's the truth that most people. That the human part of us is what makes us special. And that's the part that we should all try and lean into the most, is that we're this special thing that can care about each other,
Yeah, I mean, the fact that these people saw my parents and tried to forge this bond with them, and I mean, I hope we're still a place where that kind of stuff can happen.
I think it happens a lot. I think you're just right. I think it's not it's not the news, But I think it is more common probably than we think. Thanks for sharing that, dude. It is an important story. That's a great story.
Oof. Sorry.
Did your sister have it the whole time when she was growing up, when she was from birth?
Yeah, it was one of these things where the life expectancy with that hurlers is not it's not very long. She passed when she was like 6, 8 years old.
Aw.
Yeah.
And was she
And it's one of these things I don't really talk about it very much, and a lot of people even that know me don't know I had a sister because people would ask me like, "Oh, do you have any siblings?" And I'm like, "Oh yeah, I got a little brother, and I had a sister that passed away," and I would say it like that, and then people would like, "Ah!" Like it's a very like heavy thing to hear all of a sudden, and so I was like, "Oh, I don't want to make people uncomfortable, so I'll just say, oh, I have a little brother," and then they'll be like, "What's you guys' gap?" "Oh, he's 7 years younger." "Wow, it's a big gap." "Yeah, I'm gonna not go down this thing because
Meanwhile,
I don't want to
your
bum
sister-
everybody out because we're all just hanging out at Chick-fil-A right now.
sitting there tapping her foot like, what are we doing here? No, dude, that's my sister was born with a rare liver disease, and she had to get a liver transplant when we were kids.
Oh,
So we
wow.
spent most of our childhood like, you know, she was always this thing that we couldn't touch because she always had to have these surgeries and stuff. So I think it just reminds me like a lot of that. I think some of that kind
Oh
of
man.
that stuff. You know, I think it's just interesting when you grow up with a sibling that's sick because I think I never even thought about it till you were saying some of this. It just like, I don't know, you have to adjust yourself, I think, to try and maybe, like my sister got most of the care, right? But she needed most of it. So it was weird. So there were times where I'd be like, I don't, you know, later on in life, I'd be like, oh, I didn't get this care, but it was like, I didn't need it the most, you know?
What was you guys' age difference?
2 years. And she's still alive. She ended up getting a liver transplant. She got one of the first
okay.
liver
Oh, great.
transplants in, we moved to Arizona. She got it out there. But
That's incredible.
but it was just this whole time when she was a kid, she was always being flown off to these places, and they sounded magical, like Rochester, Minnesota, just different places where there's these big hospitals, and she'd come back like this, like almost like this Build-A-Bear that somebody's done a shitty job with. You know what I'm saying? Like just all these scars and stuff.
Oh my
But it was
God.
just, she was always just, it was weird because you like couldn't hold it. Was just like it was interesting. Did you have any experience like that with your sister, or what was it like?
There wasn't that kind of there wasn't like all these things to try because the hurlers is pretty, they don't really have a thing. You know, there's like, you know, oh, you can maybe do a bone marrow transplant, but it's not really a thing they've made much progress on. So there was never anything like that. And I don't know, it's interesting talking about this because you think about, it's like when you're a kid, it's so hard to understand what's happening. You have no frame of reference, and you know, when I look back on that stuff as an adult, I can't imagine how hard it was for my parents. Like,
Oh yeah.
you know, to have a child that has something like that, and then to lose a child, it's you know, I can't. It's strange to like step outside of yourself, and honestly, this is like some of the most I've talked about it
Yeah, and
with
I don't mean to-
anybody.
And I don't mean to pry about it. It's just
And there's also a thing no, and not at all. I don't think prying at all, and I think it's really interesting that, you know, you had something, your sister had something as well, and but you know, there's a thing with like Indian families, and you know, maybe it's a lot of families in that time. It's like you don't talk about stuff.
oh really? Is that like an Indian thing, kind of?
I think there's something of like, oh, you're not as open about your feelings and stuff, and you're just a little bit more closed off. I think so, yeah. With Asian families, Indian families, I think with emotional stuff like that, you know.
But you guys do reincarnation, so you're probably just like, oh, we can have the feelings later. We can have this.
That's in Hinduism. That's a different thing. But
Oh, really? Fuck.
Yeah.
So you guys are one time only?
Islam, it's the same as Christianity. It's you know, in terms of that stuff. As far as
Yeah.
I know, I'm not a super religious guy, but yes, that's there's the reincarnation is just in Hindu culture.
Dang. So you guys are one and done, huh?
I mean, so is a lot of people.
Okay. I'm just
Yeah.
saying. Yeah. But yeah.
Man, this got we really went for a heavy turn after micro donkeys.
It's
This
okay.
is you're teared up over here. I'm teared up. But it's good to talk about this stuff, and you know, it's so strange to think back about, you know, those times and
Yeah, to think about
everything
your
my
parents.
family went through,
That's the
especially
thing.
my parents.
I
You know,
I never think about that. I always think about things. This is one place that I kind of like struggle with, I think. A lot of times I'll think about certain periods and things that happen, and I'll only think about it like as to how it affected me. And it's like, man, to get into that place of where you're even thinking like, well, how did this affect my parents? Like I was eating dinner with some friends yesterday, and in the background she has like these 4 kids, and they're beautiful kids. They have the cutest kids. And they're all going haywire. And it was the first time I thought, holy shit, my mom had 4 kids and nobody to fucking help. Like there was, and it was,
Oh,
can
yeah.
you imagine what that would be like these days?
that sounds impossible.
Impossible. And our parents were able to do that kind of stuff. But it was the first time that I like even had a perspective moment like that was that clear, you know?
Oh yeah, I just
So for you to have that, I think is pretty cool. That you think like, oh, what my parents must have went through, you know? Because it's like, yeah, it's like for us, it's a sibling, but for them, it's like, you know, it's probably something that feels far greater, you know?
yeah.
Anyway, I didn't mean to delve into that, man.
No, I'm glad we did, and I think it's a really interesting thing to talk about. And for me, I you know,
I bet
it's
you'd be
not
so
so
proud of you.
You know what I think about sometimes is there was. Do you know the comic strip Live in New York?
Oh yeah.
You know that club?
Yep.
That was the first club I ever got passed at, and there was a guy. His name was Lucian Hold, and he was the guy that would pass you. You know, you've heard of like Esty at the Cellar. He was like Esty at the Cellar. He was the guy.
Yeah, there's always that person.
There's always a person that was a gatekeeper, and I went in there when I was like 18. And what was cool about the comic strip was they had a thing where anybody could audition. Like you just lined up, and then you could audition.
It's just
And
kinda crazy.
which
really.
is like, because you know, I don't know if this was your experience when you were starting out, but it's like you just wanted a shot, right?
Oh, yeah.
You just wanted a shot, and the idea of that you could be a regular at the comedy. I remember I used to go to the Comedy Cellar, and I'd just be like, oh my god, could you imagine just getting spots here? Could you
Yes.
imagine just how amazing it would be to get spots? That was my dream.
I know, you're so right.
And so I went to the comic strip. They had this, you know, open call, like you just had to wait in line, and then you'd pick from I believe what would do is you'd pick from a lottery, and it would give you a date.
A date?
Yeah, like they would do on Mondays. They'd have a certain number of people that were from this audition.
That's cool.
So I picked a date, and then I showed up, and you went through this one woman, and if she said, okay, you can see Lucian, you'd audition for Lucian. And so I got through it, and then I auditioned for Lucian, and you know, you wait around, all these kind of things. Even like SNL, you hear these stories of people like, yeah, you didn't just wait around, they just make you wait around. And then he spoke to me at the end, and he was like, you could start working at the club. And I was like, "Ah!" and I was terrible. I was not good, but I was like very young, and I was very comfortable on stage. And he told me, he was like, you know, when people your age come in here, he was like, you're still at NYU, right? And I was like, yeah. He said, you know, Adam Sandler was in NYU when I passed, and so was Sarah Silverman. And I was like, oh wow. I mean, I remember I said, oh wow, it'd be amazing if I had a career like that. He's like, I don't know if that's in the cards for you, but you could. He was like the most straight shooting guy. I mean, there's very few people that are honest like that I've met in my 20-something years. He was the guy that was like that. And he was like, I don't know if that's it's not an impression of him, but he was like, I don't know if that's something that's in the cards for you, but you could start working in the club, and I would do you would do like late night, which is like they'd have the show, and then you could sign up to go on at the end of the show. So there'd be like nobody there. I'd do that all the time.
For sure, but getting up on stage, even just
It
that
was everything.
walking up, when you're coming up, if there's 6 people there, it feels like 1,000,000 people.
You're so excited.
The feeling that is the energy, that the fear and that energy and that nervousness, it feels like 1,000,000.
And sometimes, and I'll say this, and you're gonna light up because you'll know this feeling. Sometimes someone on the bill, like that was supposed to be on at like 9 o'clock, wouldn't show up, and they'd pull someone from late night, and so you'd get to go on
When people were still
there, yes. And I remember one time.
Like, I'm gonna show these bitches. That's what I would say. I had kind of an aggressive nature, but go
Yeah,
on.
but it was like this kind of like, I'm gonna get to prove myself a little bit. But one time I remember Chris Rock dropped in, and I went on after him, and like everyone's like, oh, Chris Rock just went on. They just all start leaving, and I told Chris this story the other day. I was like, I forgot this. I mean, and now he's my fucking friend. It's the craziest thing in the world to me. But Lucian, he had a disease called scleroderma. I don't know why I'm saying the disease he had, but anyway,
Is
he
that
passed
ashy
away.
skin? Or no,
It's like a skin problem. Yeah. I don't know what it is exactly, but
scleroderma. And
this dude stopped looking up stuff because it's gotten too dark. The stuff we're talking about, he's like, I'm not gonna pull up this stuff on Wikipedia. It's too dark. He's like, oh, I don't think it's appropriate. I'm not gonna. I'm just gonna let this be. I'll wait till they start talking about mini cows again. I can pull up those cute pictures.
He has like he has a whole barrel full of.
Well, you know, maybe I do bring it up because if someone wants to donate to his fund or whatever. So Lucian had this disease, and we knew he was passing away, and I went and visited him, and it was like that movie Being Mortal. You know, it was like I knew he was passing away. I knew this was probably our last conversation, and dude, this dude passed away. You know, Chris spoke at his funeral. I think Seinfeld may have said something. I can't remember. I remember I went to the funeral and I was like a little kid. I remember I like went and like was crying in the bathroom and stuff because this dude was the first dude ever to genuinely believe that I could do something in our world. The first person to say, "Hey, I'm gonna give you," and it was like fucking $10 or whatever. But he was like, "I believe in the idea of paying you to tell jokes," and he we had a conversation and I remember he said something to me, and he talked about some comic that he used to know that went to LA, and not like a super successful guy, but a guy that did okay. And he was like, you know, he said this guy told him that he was in LA, and he said that that's Lucian. Yes, that's Lucian Holt. Yeah. But I mean, he's like, you know, if you talk to guys like...
They love him?
Yeah, and they remember him from back in the day. Like
he was a character.
He's the guy that passed, you know, Eddie Murphy, and like the famous story of Chris Rock is like Eddie Murphy was at the club, and he asked Lucian, "Do you have any black comics?" And he said, "Yeah, I got one. I'll put him up if you'll watch him." And it was Chris Rock. And then Eddie Murphy watched him and then put him in Beverly Hills Cop 2. But anyway,
dude, that's so great though.
It's a huge deal. It's a huge amount of validation because I can't really explain. It's still like when I think of all the things I've done in my career, it's still I was excited as about that. I mean, dude, it was like I think it was like 10 years ago. I did Madison Square Garden. It was a similar feeling to get past.
Yeah.
You know. And but anyway, he told me the story about some guy in LA, and he said that guy told him, like, you know, there's all these idiots in LA, and if they're able to do it, I can do it too. Something to that extent. Like, and it was said it more eloquent than that. I'm not doing it justice, but he basically said to me, "You're gonna be okay," and he left me with that, and it was really cool.
Lucian did?
Yeah, he said, "You're gonna be okay. Like, you're a smart guy, and you're gonna be okay." And I mean, I've been fortunate enough, and I think I mean, that was when I was a little kid. You know, I hadn't done anything really, and you know, I feel like I've been fortunate enough in my career to be more than okay, and done a lot of great things I never would have thought possible when I was, you know, interacting with Lucian. And you know, one of my not regrets, or I don't know, not just one of my oh man kind of feelings is that, like, oh, this guy that was the first guy to believe in me,
to see me, yeah,
didn't get to see that how far I really went, you know. And weird, sorry, I feel like I'm like taking up too much of your time.
No, this is good.
Okay.
Well, you're a great storyteller. I'm realizing
thanks.
that's honestly one thing I've realized sitting here, and I can see why you're able to do what you do even more, like writing your movies and knowing, like, yeah, saying how streamlined it is. I'm enjoying it. So go on. Sorry.
You know, it's I was in a cab one time in London, and I was like, it's weird because once you become successful, it's weird when you drop into a comedy club, everyone goes nuts, and everything's a little sweeter because they're excited because you're famous. And I was in a cab with my wife in London, and someone was like, tell us about this thing, whatever. And I talked about this whole story of something that happened to us. And when I left, the cab driver said, "Hey, you're a really good storyteller." And I was like, holy shit. That was like winning an Emmy for me, because I was like, that guy has no clue who I am, and he went out of his way to tell me that. That made me feel really good.
Was he an Indian guy?
No. Why would he be Indian, Theo?
Racism.
He was like a black guy that was fully Finnish.
Okay, very
He was a
fair.
fully Finnish black guy. He was a black guy.
I love. I mean, I love race stuff. It's fun to joke about and think about because it's so different and it's fun. You know.
Well,
It's some of the
that's I
funniest
think.
stuff. But that's you're right, man. Sorry, but yeah, somebody telling you're a great storyteller. It's so funny. It's someone just that one word or one thing. It's like.
And you get it from someone that doesn't know
Yes.
anything, because sometimes you feel like, oh man, like not like oh people won't. You feel like I don't know how much of this is sweetened up because of
Right.
whatever. And it's very frustrating because I don't think anyone that's successful like that wants any of that. But you know, you get a little bit of that when you drop in and you're working on material, and you know, when you're on stage for a while,
And you don't
eventually
even know if it's
people
that
care.
good. That's the worst part. You're like, is this even good? And you're like, are you just getting unfair reactions? But then hopefully, if you're self-aware enough, and that judge inside of you, that little part of you that's always hated you, is still like lurking
You got to
around.
have that guy in there.
That guy needs to be there.
That guy needs to be there, and if he's there, you know, because you know all your people. Oh man, it's your best hour. It's like it's getting there.
Right.
You got to have that little guy, and you got to have that little guy. And look, that's you know, whether it's a movie or stand-up show, like you know, screening a movie, it's like man, people don't lie eventually. Like they'll be sweet for a little bit, but eventually they are like, all right, come on, you know, that drops after a few minutes.
Yeah, and if you start smoking your own bullshit too, that's when it can get really spooky.
Oh, that's when you gotta make sure you know. I've been around people enough to be like, oh, that when you start having a bunch of people around you that tell you you're awesome, that's when everything starts falling apart. But
Have you ever had ego problems? You ever had anything like that? Like, are you ever able to check your own ego, kind of type of things? Because ego is so dangerous because it can kind of grow in the distance. It's almost like something that you don't see growing. It's almost like you're standing there with your shadow, and then your shadow gets bigger without you noticing it. You know?
you know, I think the way I hopefully have been able to avoid that kind of problem is I'm not around all the time. You know what I mean? I kind of go away in a hole and work on stuff. This is like the most shit I've done. I haven't been on your podcast. I haven't been on anybody's podcast. I haven't done anything. I've just been working, and you know, being back out in kind
The
of
wild.
yeah, in the kind of press world, it's been kind of a little overwhelming for me. I get very overwhelmed whenever I finish like season 1 and 2 of my show. Like whenever it came on Netflix, like I left the country because I was just a little bit. It was just too much for me. Like I went to Japan for a couple of months because like I
Really for months? Did
Yeah,
you
'cause
see
I wanted to
Kanye
see-
or not?
He wasn't there at the time, but you know, I wanted to be somewhere where people didn't really know who I was. It felt a bit. It can be a little overwhelming, like that part of our jobs of red carpets and interviews. It's a lot.
Yeah, I never done a lot of that stuff, so yeah, that part I don't know about, but I can
I like
imagine
the work,
though.
but you know, I'm here and I've been doing all this stuff. I love doing this because we're just having a great conversation. Not everything is this fun, but you know, I do it because I feel like it's a part of the job, and I gotta support the work and the studio that paid for the movie and everything. So I do it, but it's not my. I like the work. I mean, all I'm looking forward to is getting back on
To work.
getting back to work, like being on set with some people and being like, hey, do this, or you know, I'm going back on the road for a little bit, like being on the road, like that is a billion times more fun than some of the stuff you have to do, excluding like this. And I actually like that podcasts are a thing now because I did Amy Poehler's podcast, and that was so fun.
She's so great.
She's great. I hadn't seen her in a while, and I was like, oh man, I'm just excited to like be with you for an hour and change because I hadn't seen you in so long. But
Yeah, dude, thanks for making me think about. We had a guy named Tommy at the Comedy Store, and he was like the guy, and he's like this character.
I've heard his name. Yeah.
And people impersonated him all the time.
Uh-huh.
And he really was. He had this long hair, and he looked like a rock and roll guy. And I believe he was. I think he also played in a band. And he made jellies and jams, and he would bring those. He was this very like eccentric type of guy.
Yeah.
But he took care of Mitzi Shore. But he would be the guy, and he'd sit there, and he'd open little curtains. And the little will call booth had little curtains on it, and he'd be like, "You're doing good." But I went to the Comedy Store one time. I was trying to find out how do they do sign-ups. I remember. And I was buying a beer on the porch, and he thought I was somebody else. He's like, "Haven't seen you around here in a while. You know, we miss you coming around." And I was like, "Yeah, And he goes, "Why don't you come back in on Sunday, man? I wanna see you back up there." And he fucking had me confused.
Whoa! Did you do the other spot?
Yeah, he did the spot.
And did you put your name down? Or?
No, I didn't even think about that. And I just kept fucking doing this.
And how'd your set go?
And it went good enough where I got to keep going. But it was, but before that, for sure, I went and signed up and waited outside. And there's like a guy that's practicing juggling who can't even talk, and he's like telling his jokes through like bowling pins and shit. It's like there's all types of stuff. There's somebody training a bird or whatever, and he's like barely trained it. And he's like trying to train it really fast in the parking lot. It's like you cannot train a bird really fast.
But this is the same thing I was talking about earlier. It's so interesting to me that, you know, comedians, we're all having, you know, this is a crazy moment to be a comedian, and people are having such overwhelming amounts of success. But at the end of the day, like, all of us started just wanting a room full of people, just a crowd, and to be able to perform.
Yeah. Well, you know, one thing that was great about Good Fortune, dude, and I haven't finished it, but I like it, and I'm excited to see the end of it.
It's not that long a movie, by the way.
But I didn't get home last night until probably 11:30.
No, I'm just saying for people that are worried that if
Oh yeah,
that's
no,
like
no,
a
it's not.
4-hour
It's an hour and a half movie.
Yeah.
But it's good, dude. There were so many there started to be some really good plot changes for me that I really dug, like right around the spot where I'm at, where you think it's gonna go one way and now it starts to change up, and then I don't want to give too much of it away. But one thing that was really amazing about it, and my friend was watching it with me, was that you felt of how tough it is that first year or two in LA. You felt of like when your character's sleeping in his car, right?
Yeah.
Or like when there's DoorDash delivery, and just like the jobs you get when you first get to a big city to try to survive. The parking tickets and how you lose your car. You just come out of a place you barely had enough money to go get some avocados. It was the one thing you were treating yourself to this week. It was like 2 avocados. I'm gonna cut those bitches up and I'm gonna eat those bitches, right? And then I'm gonna go to sleep. Right? You were so excited, and you come out and your fucking car has been towed because you didn't pay tickets. All that shit, dude. My friend and I slept in the McDonald's ball pit. We would jump the fence and sleep in that fucking ball pit.
Whoa.
Because it was like kind of some more space to lay out, right? Like if you got under the balls. There's hair in there, there's coins under there, but there's a little bit more room for your body than like, because we tried to sleep in his car one night and it was just a nightmare. But going through all of that, yeah, and the hair goes to the bottom, which I don't understand how that works. That's science. But and yeah, they should they should see what's in the bottom of a lot of these. It's not good. But yeah, we would jump over the fence and sleep in one that, you know, that closed at 10. We get in and just get five hours of sleep or something, you know.
Oh my God, I'm so
But
sorry.
I could relate. No, it was awesome. It was fucking great stories.
Yeah.
One night we're in there, dude. We're talking shit to each other, laughing and stuff. And a fucking Asian guy's on the slide. He's asleep.
He's on the slide.
Pipes
He's
up.
like he's very, very exposed.
No, like in one of those high slides where there was room where you could kind of get, you know, it was encompassed. He was in the best spot.
Oh my God.
Yes, he was in one of the tubes.
Oh, damn. That's better than the ball pit. That's a pro move.
Yeah, and he even came up to the window. It was like a little hamster showing up. Dude, it was pretty fucking dope. But dude, that was like, but you forget about all the pieces of the things and the moments that like were so big.
And that was in L.A.?
And that was in LA. And I think we
Which
all
McDonald's in L.A.?
it's on Wilshire Boulevard, like Wilshire and
Does that Asian guy have a podcast now too? I hope he does.
I think it's Ronnie Chang.
You know, I was doing a one of those shows at the Comedy Cellar where people don't know who's gonna show up.
Uh-huh.
It was like surprise headliner, and it's just me working on stuff. And I walk by the line, and some lady goes, "Oh, I hope it's not Ronnie Chang."
Oh, really?
Yeah, but then I found out that it's because she'd been to another one of these, and it was Ronnie Chang.
Okay,
And we talked about it in the show, but it wasn't because she doesn't like all love to Ronnie Chang.
All
I
love.
love Ronnie Chang.
Dude, I just got to see him last week. I bumped into him. I went into the comedy cellar.
Okay, yeah.
Just stopped in, and he was in there. It was awesome, dude. Just to get
He's
to see him.
great,
He is
yeah,
great.
but I just
He's got
thought
some
it was
great
like the funniest
specials
thing
too.
to
If you haven't
hear.
seen him,
Yeah.
I get him to come in and talk sometime.
Yeah, no, he's great, but I just thought it was funny to walk by and hear that.
That's so funny, dude.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's one thing I loved about Good Fortune. You and Seth Rogen are you guys are buddies, I guess it is.
Yeah,
Work
and
buddies. And
we'd spoke about this movie, and, you know, if anyone listening is going to see the movie, please, you know, see it in a theater with the crowd, because we were talking about these movies like,
I think it's worth it for sure. It definitely felt like a real movie to me. It didn't feel like some forced shit, you know? I know, like, they're like, you know, sometimes you get these movies and it's like, it felt shit feels forced or too fake or like it's not real. I didn't feel any of that. I
Oh,
didn't feel like
thanks.
any pandering for some like social causes or any shit
No,
like
it's just
that.
trying to be very real.
Yeah.
And very funny. And you know.
It's good, dude. I'm fucking excited about finishing it.
Oh.
Because your character starts to get like, what the fuck? I thought he was great. And then he's like, but you see the different parts of us that can come out and come to the surface
Yeah.
when different things like are attached to us.
Yeah, but when we were making the movie, Seth and I would talk about like how we'd go to movie theaters and see movies like Anchorman or Superbad or Pineapple Express, and you'd have like a room. It'd be like a stand-up show, like a room full of people erupting, and it's like what we feel when we do stand-up. Like if we did stand-up and there was only like one person in the crowd, that's not the same thing. Like the people make a difference. So like seeing a movie. A comedy in theaters, it's something that's kind of gone away after the pandemic and everything, and I hope we can bring it back. I mean, we were just in Chicago last night, and we screened the movie. We've been doing these like little secret screenings, and I've been sitting in a little bit and watching it, and I'm like, I don't even remember the last time I've been in a packed theater watching a comedy. So I hope the movie works and that people get to make more comedies and they get to see them in theaters, because, it's something that I miss, and yeah, I mean, especially because our movie's like an original movie, a comedy, theatrical. It's tough to get it done.
I mean, I'm not even lying or joking or pandering to you or to our
No, I appreciate
the fans. I wouldn't say that. I think it's worth going to see. I think if you took a date or a friend or your buddy, you guys would have a good time. It would be worth your money. It'd be worth driving over there and sitting in there. So far, and I'm not even done with it unless it gets really bad in the second half.
The back gas. Oh man, the back gas great. We're gonna have to talk about it afterwards, because
Okay.
it really relates to a lot of the things, some of the stuff we were talking about earlier, some of the emotional things we were talking about in terms of just kind of seeing other people and seeing what they're going through and just kind of giving them a look. I was thinking about that when my mom was telling me that story, but yeah.
Yeah, that was a great story, man. Why do you feel like you have to do so much? Because this is something I've struggled with in my own life. Like
I think
always
I need
feel
to
like-
have a kid or something, because I feel like as I've gotten older, I do things like, oh yeah, I was.
But
I'm
you're
like
so
finished.
prolific. You've done so many TV shows. You've written. You've
Yeah.
directed. You've won. Haven't you won an Emmy before?
Yeah, won 2 Emmys.
Damn, brother. Gang.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying, like, and sorry, I don't know. I don't know a lot about that.
Oh, it's fine.
But
But doing too much.
why
thing.
do you ever know why you feel like you? Because some people, they could do half of that and feel extremely accomplished, and they would be. But do you feel like is it financial, which is fine? It's definitely nice to have money and have security. Is there something that you find
Well,
because
it's not financial, because doing movies, I technically would make way more money touring.
Yeah.
I'm like losing money doing these movies. Like trying to make a movie for theaters, it's kind of like trying to be like, hey, I want to build a Tower Records. Good luck, Aziz. It's not what's the lucrative thing. You know what I mean? Like, it's interesting because my like heyday of touring and everything was probably 10 years ago when I did the Garden and all that stuff. I was touring like crazy. Back in that time, not many people were doing theaters and arenas. Like there was only a few people, and now it's like fucking everybody does. And when I go on tour, I'm like, who's Alton Brown, the chef? He's playing the Deepak Center in Durham?
Oh,
What? He's just chopping food up and people are coming? Everybody's on tour, dude.
there'll be a dude Julianing a carrot for 11,000 people?
Yes, and you're like, what?
Dude, Is
What's
It
happened?
Cake? That TV show Is It Cake is going on tour. I'm like,
Yes.
who gives a
Yeah,
fuck?
Is It Cake Tour? And you're like, wait, that's what I'm competing
It's
with?
just people
It
in the
was-
stands with binoculars trying to figure out if
It
it's
was
cake.
not like this.
At 70 yards. It's ridiculous.
It's
Who
not.
cares?
It was not like this.
Who
And the
cares
number
if it's fondant?
it was not like this. And in that time, there was a whole podcast boom. Everybody found an audience. You cut out the middlemen of Netflix or whatever. People are putting stuff on YouTube, and now all these people are touring, and there's been this massive boom. And I, during that time, made my TV series, worked on these movies, and have kind of stepped away.
But now you're
what
coming back. You're touring again.
Yeah, I'm touring again now, and it's been so fun. And I have I've had a great time, But I'm also like, damn, dude, the travel, it hits me in a different way. And like, you see October 23rd, I'm getting stressed. I'm like, I can't go to Temecula. I gotta cancel Temecula. San Diego, oh God. Oh, Modesto, Monterey, oh God. At least I can hub out of LA. Oh no, then I gotta fly to Cincinnati on the 13th. Oh
Bro,
God, then
and
we
then
gotta fly to Louisville. TSA is gonna be closed. There's gonna be like one air traffic controller. Then I'm probably gonna go down on my way to St. Louis. That's gonna be delayed.
Ooh, Indianapolis will be fun, dude.
Indianapolis. Then I go see my family in Charlotte. That's nice. I love Asheville. Asheville's a great town, and Savannah's a great town.
Savannah's beautiful too.
Yeah, no, I love the show, and I love being in the different cities because when you tour, you form a relationship with these cities, and
For
you're happy to
sure.
go
Oh, you're
back.
excited to go back. You're excited to
Yeah.
see like, oh, look at this crowd. This one's different. This energy. This place is different.
and what's so cool is and I think this is why people like to go to live stand-up is like, even if you watch in special, it's not the same as that show in that town, and it's really fun.
Yeah.
And for me, like this tour, it's been fun because I haven't toured in a while, so it's a lot of stuff has happened. I've been married. Me and my wife are trying to have a kid, and to go back to the thing we were talking about of like doing too much, like the movies, I feel like that comes from like I have an idea and I have this vision of, and it sounds cheesy to say vision, but I have a vision of something I want to execute, and it's something I'm really excited about, and I'm like racing to be on set to do, like, it could just be like I'm writing something now and I have this one scene, I'm like, oh man, I just want to shoot that scene. I like think this would be so, I gotta get there, and it's a long time to get there. Movies are so slow, you gotta work with so many other people, it's a nightmare. But I do it because I really love films, and I want to make more films. But I do think I've realized recently, like, I've got to calm down. Like, I think I've overestimated my ability to work, and as I get older,
You get burnt out. You get
yeah, I
stressed.
feel
The
burnt
stress
out, and
builds.
I've seen friends that are burned out. you
Oh,
know?
dude, you're looking at one of them. We're not even friends, but you're looking at somebody that's been burnt out, but we could maybe be friends.
I mean, I hope so, dude. We went deep here. This is deeper than I went on any other podcast. We
Really?
talked about some heavy stuff. Yeah, in a great way. I love it. I mean,
Oh, yeah.
I think this is so
We
much
talk about
more
a lot of this stuff on here. It's important, It's
no,
nice to like
I
have.
really like it, but no, that burnout feeling. It's like
Oh, it's real. I started shedding hair recently, dude. We had a freaking retired Boston detective who has some of the craziest stories. Found a wiener on the sidewalk, and it was like a real whodunit or whatever. Obviously, the person missing the wiener did it, but so it was pretty kind of easy. It wasn't like Knives Out. Actually, it was like Knives Out. It's a long story.
Wow.
But anyway, oh shit, I forgot.
we were talking about like just the burnout. And
Oh yeah,
just
the
kinda-
burnout is real. It happens, dude. Yeah, I started shedding hair, all that
tough
kind of
to
stuff.
say,
happens.
it's tough to say no too, because
Yeah.
you're having a moment right now, and I've had a moment, and people start telling you to do all this stuff, and no one on your side of the business is gonna be like, dude, you gotta chill, you gotta take some rest.
Yeah.
No one ever says that. They're like, well, that's a great opportunity. You should do it, and you're like, well, that's a great opportunity. I should do it. And when I was younger, I could do all that stuff. When I look back at schedules and stuff I did, I'm like, how did I do all this? I can't do it anymore. At
Yeah.
this age, it's a different thing, and I'm married now. It's like I've been away from my wife a lot, and it's not. I don't feel nice about it sometimes.
Well,
and
look, I have a suggestion to help you relax. Go watch Good Fortune. Go with your wife.
go with my
I'm
own
not even
movie?
joking. Go sit and watch it. You'll
we
like it.
did-
You guys will laugh. You'll get to spend some time together. It's good. I do know it's out October 17th. I do want to remind everybody about that.
Yeah, thank you.
I feel lucky you get to be in London. One of my favorite musicians, James Blake, lives over there. Dermot
Oh,
Kennedy
okay.
is a he's in the United Kingdom. He's a guy that I really love, who actually is coming in town soon. Yeah, I would love to get to live over there sometimes. People feel very.
It's
People
nice you're a little bit. I mean, you probably feel this here too. Like you're a little bit away from the circus.
Oh yeah, I feel totally good. And the circus is dissolved. The circus is.
It's a different thing. You
finding-
don't really need to be there anymore.
They're finding new places. There's new mini circuses popping up.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah.
And
But is Nashville becoming a circus?
no, I don't think so. Not
Yeah,
too much. It
yeah.
still feels kind of small. There's a lot of people moving here and a lot of stuff going on, but it still
Yeah.
feels pretty small. Most
No,
of the
I mean
time.
I feel like that in London, that I'm away from things. Whenever I go back to LA, I start feeling like, oh my God, I'm falling behind. I need to do this because you hear about it. Oh, I've just made this. I'm working on it. I'm like, oh shit, what am I doing? I'm not doing anything.
You've done so much, dude. I
Dude,
mean, from television to, I know you had that series I watched for a while. It was on Netflix. It was
Yeah,
just
Master
you.
None. Yeah.
That was Master of None.
Yeah, yeah.
The book that you wrote, I know
Yeah,
about dating
that
and
was
like
10
the
years ago,
struggling
too.
of
Yeah,
love.
yeah.
You've done enough. Let me tell you this: if nobody ever tells you, you've done enough.
No, but finishing the movie was a big deal. and I'm glad I did it because it took a minute to get it done, and I'm really proud of it and proud of the work that I did, and
Yeah.
my whole team did, all the actors did, and I'd love to make more, but yeah, I hear you, and it's
You've
yeah.
done a lot. That's what I mean. I didn't
Yeah,
mean
no.
enough. I didn't mean
No,
enough.
I know what you mean. I appreciate it. Yeah.
And I think, yeah, and your sister would be so proud of you. What was her name again? I want to say it one more time. Nafis?
Yeah.
Oh, it's such a pretty name. How do you spell it?
Nafeez.
Ooh, Nafis.
I'm so glad we talked about that because I feel like I'm here with some people that work with me and they're like, wait, what? Because
Well, I think when we say people's names out loud, people that have been a part of our lives, like even when we're talking about like if you wanted to say something to Lucian, I think when we say people's names, they feel that wherever they are, that is a felt thing. Because otherwise, why would we feel it? You know
no,
what I'm saying?
it's bringing their it's putting them in the
Yeah, and I
them out
believe
there.
it's like
Yeah.
I believe they feel it wherever they are. They feel it. You know. I think you definitely, if you're here for this long, you definitely keep an anchor locked in.
I mean, the other person I was going to mention, and tell me if you, I don't want you to run this or whatever, but the other person I was thinking of when I was talking about Lucian was, have you ever heard of Manny that ran the Comedy Cellar? Manny Dorman was the owner of the Comedy Cellar. His son Gnome's there now. But he.
Oh yeah, I know Gnome.
Yeah. So Gnome's dad is Manny.
Okay.
First time I ever did comedy was at the Comedy Cellar. They had a new talent night, which doesn't even exist anymore. Now they just have like fucking 10 Comedy Cellars and 10 shows a night. But this was like back in the day. They had a new talent night at like 6 o'clock, and you'd bring like a couple of friends, and they'd give you stage time. And I did that, and I was 18 years old, summer of my freshman year in college. Didn't do good at it. I did well. My material was terrible, but I did well because I was very comfortable on stage and public speaking, and I was just kind of funny, and it worked. And I came back and did it again, and I did a couple of open mics, and had a reality check. I'm like, oh fuck, this is really hard. And then the third time I did stand-up, third time I ever did stand-up was again at the Comedy Cellar, and it was one of these new talent nights. And I, for some reason, this crowd and me, I was
Didn't
just,
go well.
No, went super well.
Oh fuck!
Just-
All your stories end up
No.
with they go good.
But and they went nuts, and I like said something at the end. I was like, "Oh, by the way, like whatever we perform here, we have to bring a certain number of friends. I'm running out of friends, so if you want to come, like come say hi backstage and or whatever, And I was just being serious, and they were all just losing it. And Manny saw this, and he said like, there's Manny. And he goes, he basically came up, and it was like some old Hollywood thing. He was like, you're ready for the big room. I'd done stand-up like 3 times. There's no way I was ready to perform at the hardest comedy. And this is like Comedy Cellar, where it's like Attell, Geraldo, Jim Norton. He's like, you're ready for the big room. And so I would show up there, and they would put me on late at night, almost like a late night. They would,
Yeah, for
and
sure.
it was like really odd because I shouldn't have been doing it. I was just so green, and I was doing it, and eventually, Esty, who's the famously runs a Comedy Cellar, passes comics. She's like, okay, you go on. And I went on, and she was like, yeah, you can't be performing here. Because
Push
I've
you
been doing
back
it
down?
less. Yeah, she's like, you can't be doing this. She's fucking tough. And I was
Oh,
like
yeah,
a
she's
little
so
kid.
tough.
She was like, you can't be doing this. You're not ready. And I was like, okay. And then now again, one of the Emmy, Madison Square Garden, whatever, like this to me is the coolest thing, is that I can perform at the Comedy Cellar and just drop in, and they'll just let me do material.
Yeah.
And perform, and then the crowd goes nuts and knows who I am. That's the craziest thing to me.
That's crazy.
That's like kind of above everything else. And my biggest dream, I've told people, is like that I'm just like 90 years old and I drop into the Comedy Cellar and maybe a couple of people know who I am, but that I'm able to fucking hold my own. But anyway, I was there at the Comedy Cellar one night, and me and Esty were talking about this, and she was like, Manny saw you whenever you were really young, and he must be up there smiling now, seeing all you've done.
Mm.
And yeah, that made me smile. And I wasn't super close with Manny, but he was another guy before Lucian. Oddly, even saw me and just said something.
What's a reminder, I think, for anybody that has been in the field for a while of when you take a moment to connect with somebody that's just coming into it, that it could have an effect. So that's a nice reminder.
It means the world to them, and you don't realize, because I think we're all we're all in our own head and don't realize.
I mean, yeah, especially when you're young, there's one person having to believe like, oh, good job, just little things like that. And I'm still grateful. It reminded me that Neil Brennan and Amy Schumer are the ones that helped me get past at the Comedy Cellar.
Oh, wow.
And I've only performed there like probably 6-7 times, or maybe 10. But I walked in the other night and I was so nervous, like, you want to go up? I was like, no way, I'm not freaking going up, dude. But I think some of that's just places you used to be in, So, Aziz, I got to go, man. Thank you so much.
Oh, man, this was such a great conversation.
This has been cool.
I really enjoyed it, and we talked about so many interesting things, and really some heavy stuff. But I thought it was great, and I'm so glad we had the opportunity to do it.
I appreciate it, man. I think it's exciting that you get to live in London and have a new experience. It sounds like you've had a lot of unique experience. If you missed the Return of the Rat tour, we've added tour merch to the website.
Dude, thank you for fucking having me. It's awesome.
Oh, yeah.
I only watched you and I listened to this.
What are you talking about, Joel Osteen?
I listened to your podcast, and I listened to this podcast called How Did This Get Made, where they just kind of talk about movies. And
Oh, yeah, people... Wait, I know who's... That's not Doug...
It's Manzukis and Paul Scheer. They just talk about, like, movies that, like, were ridiculous, and then, like, just the math of how they got made.
Paul Scheer is so cool.
He is really cool. He's a good guy.
Is he?
Yeah.
I never known him that much except for seeing him in movies and TV.
Manzukis is maybe pound for pound one of the fucking funniest human beings.
Really?
It's amazing.
Mantzoukas, huh? Let me get a gander at him. Oh, he's all the ethnicities, huh? He's a fucking Gaza Stripper. Dear God, I'd be afraid to open my car door if I were him, and I wouldn't even know which way it was coming from.
He's one of those guys that's looked like that forever, and now he's the appropriate age to look like that, but he'll also still look like that forever. You know what I mean?
He looks like somebody off that Muslim version of Guess Who. Remember that game? You know what I'm saying? Like, and no offense, Mr. Mantzoukas, if you're as funny as he says you are, you're okay with some of this. They should have a Muslim version of Guess Who. Dude, they have an Asian version. It's just all the same guy on there.
Do they really? Do they have one for every
I'm
country?
sure they do. It's fucking the way they do it now.
That's what I like about this. You learn a little bit.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, they have a Guess Who, too, for like twinks. I know there's one. It's like one of these guys doesn't mind meeting other guys or whatever. Jesus Christ. This is crazy. Dude, you're going on your first international tour. Is that cool? Pete Davidson, good to see you today, man.
Thanks for having me, bro.
Yeah, thanks, dude.
I'm stoked. I've never been anywhere unless it was for like work,
Right?
but I've always wanted to try. Yeah, it's just like I can't believe that anybody would come see me over there.
Yeah. You almost need to go there to believe that.
Yeah, I'm kind of like dumb where I'm like, no one knows me in, Australia.
Yeah, or
I've never
Dutch
been
or
there
wherever.
before.
Yeah.
I don't have friends there.
Yeah.
But I'm excited. Yeah.
Are you taking anybody with you? Is it only you?
It's me and my friend Joey Gay, who does shows, been doing shows with me since I'm like 18. So.
Oh, nice. Bring him up. Let me get a picture of Joey Gay. Just so I can...
Joey Gay's fucking hilarious, dude.
I may have met him, but I can't remember.
He's been around forever. He's just one of those dudes that just always destroys.
Oh, there he is.
Yeah. And he's also been my friend, since the before time.
I know him.
Yeah, he's a monster, dude. He's fucking great.
I know him. He looks like a little bit like Chris, like almost like Chris Stefano and Charlemagne had a kid a little bit in that picture.
No, he's a real good dude.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
Where are you guys headed to? I know you're headed to Perth, I saw.
Perth, Sydney, another one, maybe Melbourne?
Yeah?
It could be wrong.
Yeah.
I have no idea. When you get a tour schedule and you're super intimidated
Yeah.
and you just go day by day.
Yeah.
But I know we're doing it. Oh, here they are.
Singapore, whoa.
Yeah.
And what's causing all that? There's a lot of good street food there.
That was just Burke. I don't know if
we have the same agent.
Yeah, we're the same age. So he'll be
yeah.
like, yeah, you can fit this one in there. It's on the way. There's a layover over
Why don't you
there.
parachute into the Azores? I got a hostage facility outside of Guantanamo. I'll sell 200 tickets in right now. Nah, they owe me. They owe me.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
all right, whatever.
they always do owe him.
I got it. Dude, that's gonna be great. And you're going to Riyadh. So how do you guys feel about this Saudi Arabian Comedy Festival? There's been a lot of like talk about this recently. Are they limiting what you guys can say? Have you heard anything about it yet?
That one I haven't heard much about. Singapore, I had like a laundry list of stuff. It was pretty much my whole act. So I don't know. I don't know what to do. I'm like Googling old sets from when I was like 20 and just gonna do the classics and
Dude, do some of Jim Gaffigan's bits. That's what I do if I'm in a tough spot.
just do. I mean, or just do Nate's stuff. Just very evergreen, clean stuff. Have you ever had that problem?
Yeah, dude.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I have it a lot. I mean, I have a lot where it's like you have to sift back through.
They're like, one of them was like, you could talk about sex, but like not like in a dirty way.
Right.
And I'm like, what the fuck does that mean?
Yeah.
So
I guess let's try to have a conversation about sex, but not in a dirty way. Oh man, I had some sex recently. Yeah.
How'd it go?
Well, I thought it went pretty good. You know, I was on a full stomach, so.
Did you both blast?
Hold on. I need to leave this conversation. Okay. This isn't Singapore approved, I think. And they'll beat you with that stick over there. Remember they killed that honky over there like 25 years ago. Remember that guy? Christopher Reeves or whatever? Who was that guy?
They killed Christopher Reeves in Singapore?
I think, or maybe that's not him. Who was it? This is a huge thing when I was a child. They beat this guy for doing something over there. What was he doing?
Oh, this guy.
Michael Fay. There he was.
Oh, man.
Tina Fey's brother.
Right.
This is why she had to win. She didn't have a choice. The person was famously caned in Singapore as Michael Fay, an American teenager. In 1994, Fay was sentenced by a Singaporean court to 6 strokes of the cane and 4 months in jail for acts of vandalism, specifically for spray painting and damaging cars,
Oh, he didn't do anything.
as well as stealing road signs. Yeah.
I mean, that's fine.
Oh, that's just a little bit of Newsome foreplay right there. That's nothing, dude.
That's sad.
It is
It's sad. It's sad in general, but just for like spray painting cars and stealing road signs, I feel like they should just cut your hand off or something.
Well, I think this guy's pretty lucky, dude. Some places, I guess, they still have a lot of that. But no, what I've heard, dude, is at that Riyadh festival is that they're like, there's a lot of people that say people are getting paid by this Middle Eastern money,
Right.
and that they can say this or they can't say that, or that they're over there. They're going to try to influence you guys in order to speak certain ways. Are you part of that conspiracy theory, or is that nothing you're on?
I've heard there's subreddits of like, I think all these people are in bed with that. I just, I get the routing and then I see the number and I go, I'll go. Okay. Yeah, and also, there's part of me that's just like, I've been getting a little bit of flack just because like my dad died 9/11, so they're like, how could you possibly go there?
So your dad died during 9/11. He died in one of the buildings?
Yeah, he was a fireman. They were actually the first truck there. There's like this very. This is how shitty my luck is. Also, not to make this all about myself, but
well, it's an interview of you, so it's
right.
If you do, it's okay.
I'm at 9/11, but yeah, it's all about me. There's a very famous shot that you see every 9/11, besides the obvious ones, but they were the first truck over the bridge to the.
So the 9/11?
Yeah, so the front page is just like Pete's dad. And like, oh, so
he's waving out the window.
Yeah, he's like that. So yeah, they were the first truck over there, and pretty much the whole house, died.
Oh,
which is sad, but also, at least he died with his pals. It's kind of.
They all went as a group, huh? That's his truck.
No, that's the picture. You see the truck on the bridge?
Oh,
yeah. My dad's in there, dude. I wonder if. Well, you know.
That's something Shane Gillis would say, dude.
Pretty gay, dude. Yeah. He's in there. It's pretty gay. I don't know.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, my Down syndrome brother's in there. Yeah, I feel like that's what Shane would say the whole time. That's your dad right there?
That's my pops, dude.
Dude, you're Latino?
No, all white and Jewish and Irish.
Oh, wow.
And a little Italian. Yeah, but I feel like our family looks mixed, but we're not.
Well, it's crazy that he died in 9/11 and also part of him is accused of doing it. That's the craziest part. So I think that's where You're like you're the fucking, you're the Bermuda Triangle of 9/11.
Well, it is a little weird that they were the first truck there.
That is true.
It's almost like he was too ready to go. You know
Yeah,
what I
it's the
mean?
old Irish hello, huh? Yeah, that's the Irish part. I think. Oh man, he's a handsome guy. What was he like?
He was fucking hilarious, man. He was. My memories are, few and far between because I was 7, but I just remember laughing a lot. Him being pretty jacked and smoking a lot of cigarettes and driving a Subaru Impreza. That's all I remember. Always had a big smile on his face. But my favorite thing is, I don't know if you have. I'm sure you do. People come to your shows and they're like, I know your dad, or I know your cousin, or whatever. A lot of people lie to me about that just to come backstage because they know I can't be like,
Right.
sure, or whatever. But
I don't want to hear about it. Of course, you want to hear a story about your dad.
of course, I could always tell who is telling the truth because the second they start talking, they have this big smile and their eyes kind of light up, and they call him Scotty, which is what his friends call him. So I always could tell, and everything I hear is always really sweet. So I'm sure they keep the horrible things away.
Yeah, Scotty
You know
bet
what
on
I
the
mean?
Jets.
Yeah, he did.
Did he?
He's a Jets fan.
Oh.
Yeah, but you lost your pops too. You were young too, right?
Yeah, I was 16. My dad died. He was just older though. But I think I mean, losing your dad when you're a kid is kind of tough. I think obviously it's tough. I think it is funny as you get older, you want to know the different stuff about him,
Yeah.
Yeah.
What do you like?
There's still more
Yeah.
information, Like, did he sleep in his car or whatever, Like, what did he do, for fun?
I think it's worse at your age though, because you could fully understand the scope of what happened, and you're at such a pivotal age in your life where you're growing and becoming a man. I was really young, so I didn't even really know what the fuck happened, and it hit me later. Like when I was in college, I was like, "Oh, I'm pretty angry about this." Like it'll show up more and more as I get older because you understand that's really sad to happen to a kid. But I feel like at your age, and forgive me if I'm wrong, but that's visceral. That's some tough shit.
Yeah, I think, my dad was so old. My dad was my dad was born in 1910. He was an old man, and so
What?
he was 70 when I was born, so he was 86 at that time, right? So it wasn't like I had this, dad that had this energy, and I had this kind of dad that was sleeping in the distance a lot, or all inadvertently causing shit to falling asleep in the carpool, he'd come pick me up and he'd fucking doze off out there, and my dad had this. He was always buying cars off his brothers that lived around the corner, right? And so one time he had this Cutlass that had some 22s in the trunk, and he would just listen to Rush Limbaugh and shit with bass
Cranked up.
Oh, bro, and it would be Paul Harvey and just these old commentators, and he would fucking just doze off in his car. And whenever he dozed off, he was old, his eyes would leak and there's water kind of pour out. Because you're getting old, your gaskets get bad, and so he was just fucking shedding water weight. And I was just looking what is going on?
So you were a little prepared.
I was prepared that things weren't going to go well.
Right.
So my dad kind of was like a driving 9/11. He pulls up in his own little. I would have been awesome if we got to put my dad's car behind that fire truck.
Superimpose your dad's car in there.
Yeah, he was always a 9/11, dude. Every time he came in, and somebody had to get his fucking carburetors didn't work, he had to climb in the fucking room. Everything was a fucking nightmare with him. And the teachers would always look at you like, don't get in there.
Right. With your dad?
Yeah, but that's your parent picking you up. But then there's little things did you have some nice mementos of his?
I have his wedding ring I wear all the time, and I have his. It's actually super fucked up, but I have his badge, his chain, his badge, and they found that's how they, everybody's pretty burnt up, so that's how they knew it was him. And I have it. I just keep it in a safe because with my luck, I'll lose that shit. But I have a couple of those things, and I have his jacket and other set of pants, and I put them on the wall and framed them. But then I took them down though, because sometimes I'll be feeling good, and then I'll see that and I'll be like, oh, yeah, it's it's a weird thing. I remember my mom has, it's everywhere you look, it's you know, my dad like, and it's fucking, it's kind of
Put on a condom. Sorry, that's crazy, dude. I was just trying to make you laugh.
No, it did make me laugh, but it's kind of haunting. Where you're just like, I would like the option, like if I want to go down memory lane,
Right.
I can, but like, you know, just like have your dad staring at
Yeah,
you.
you don't want memory lane just hanging out on the wall, being like, "Hey, do a lap," you know?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh,
Do you have
wow.
any stuff for your dads? Do you have those speakers?
No. What do we have? We have. I have his passport for whenever he moved to the U.S.
Where are you from?
He's from Nicaragua. He came down here. I think he was like, so I guess he was 12 or whatever.
That's wild.
It was pretty
I
wild.
don't know anyone from there. That's
Yeah.
crazy.
I don't know either.
I didn't know it's like a real place.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it's like a place you live on MySpace when you're in high school.
Oh, Nicaragua? Yeah.
Or Schenectady, New York.
Oh, yeah. Or Kalamazoo, Michigan.
Yeah.
Dude, I remember when I saw Kalamazoo in the airport one time. People were going there one day. I couldn't even fucking believe it. They were like traveling into a Dr. Seuss novel or something. I was like, tell Cindy Lou Who. I said, what's up, Mom? How old is she? You feel me? But yeah, I think as you get older, stuff like that's interesting. Were you able to find pieces of fatherhood in other men as you got older?
Yeah, I think that's inadvertently what I was doing. I wasn't like very conscious, like I need to find my dad, you know.
Yeah.
But as I look back, you know, and that was what was cool about getting into comedy. I was 16, so everyone, the youngest comedian friend I had was like, I don't know, 29, 30. It was like Che, DeStefano,
Oh, that's
all,
great.
you know, all those guys, Giannis, Nate, Soder, and like it was all dudes that were older than me. That like, you know, obviously there wasn't a lot of other younger dudes, but I really looked up to them. Like I just see Joey, I do shows with Joey Gay all the time. He's like in his 50s, so most of my friends I find are like, you know, 40 and up, because I think that makes me feel safe, and also just like this is for some form of like big brother sort of thing. And
You got somebody looking out for you.
but also when you go through a tragedy that young, like your brain is older. Like I always felt like I was older. Like in school, where like when that happened, you know, kids would be like, "You want to like have a pool party?" I'm like, "No." Like,
Yeah.
I want to smoke cigarettes and cry. Like, it's
Yeah.
it's like it's not that like innocence is kind of taken away really fast, and that's why I got into stand up. I watched, you know, Bird, Chappelle, you know, Rodney's my favorite. So I think that's why I like being towards laughing a lot.
Yeah.
I'm a sad dude. Like I feel like most of us.
Were you a pretty sad dude, you think?
Yeah, I think there's my
Let's
mom.
get pigeonholed as this nonsense.
Yeah, I'm like, what the fuck, guys? I'm like, everybody's always like, oh, that guy just, and that's where some of the hatred comes. He got, I don't give a fuck attitude. I'm like, no, I'm miserable. I want to be that dude too. All the dude you guys are talking about, I want to be him. I don't even know that guy. I look at pictures, I'm like, who is this guy that everybody's talking about? You know, like it's not me. But yeah, I grew up super duper sad. My mom shows pictures. She could always tell me like a little before and after my dad passed, because the eyes, like the eyes are just like sad.
The eyes have it, that's what they say.
Yeah. I feel like people think you must be like the happiest silly dude ever, but I feel like you have some layers.
Oh, yeah, dude. I'd like to be in a wheelchair a lot of times. You know, just to fucking show them, I'll show them. That's my attitude.
Show other
I'll
dudes in
fucking take
wheelchairs.
that bitch right out of the fucking interstate. I'll show them. Hit me. I'll go to heaven right now, motherfucker.
Do you ever play Truth or not Truth or Dare, but like kind of Russian roulette with yourself, or like if I die this way, I'm supposed to? Like where I got a motorcycle for a little bit.
You did?
Just for a bit, and then I got into an accident.
Why just for a bit?
It was kind of like if I go this way, like I was young, I was like, I don't give a fuck. I'm old dude. But then I didn't realize like you could get in a motorcycle accident and it not be your fault. Like I didn't realize you could get hit by other cars.
Oh, yeah. You don't think about that.
I don't think about it. You're just like it's all in my control. But some dude clipped me. The bike kind of fell on me. It was pretty mid, but I was like, oh,
It was enough.
Yeah, I don't want to die by someone else. I want to.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
Yeah, I want to go out on my shit. So.
Yeah, motherfucker.
Yeah.
I'll die, bitch. Watch me.
Yeah.
You don't think I'll die?
What? Yeah.
Dude, I'll say this. I've had a girlfriend before where I've been like, I knew I should leave her, but I'm like, I'm not leaving her because she'll find somebody that actually likes her.
Yeah. Yep.
That's how fucking much I was like miserable, dude.
You ever have
Sad, dude.
one of my rebuttals to a girl leaving me was like, "You've done so much work. You've done so much work on me. Like, it's like you got me ready for someone else. Like that's like not fair. I mean, because now there's gonna be all this good with someone else. Like you taught me so much.
Yeah, he showed up for the graduation.
Yeah, come on. You know, you put so much work in.
You know I'm back, and you know I never left, baby. Prize Picks, bing bong. That's where I'm at. Prize Picks is the best place to win cash while watching sports if you like to fire on sports. If that's not your thing or you can't handle it, that ain't for you, King. But football season is fully underway, and there's no better time to join. The app is really easy to use. To create a lineup, all you have to do is pick more or less on a few players' stats. That's it. Prize Picks is in more than 40 states, including California, Texas, and Georgia. And with promo code Theo, you can play $5 and get $50 in lineups. It's heartbreaking to say it, but with the Saints playing as tragically as they are and possibly being sold in a few years in a package deal with the Pelicans, I am choosing some of the Buffalo Bills this week for my players. I'm picking more than 2.5 touchdowns for Josh Allen, and I'm picking more for Keon Coleman. That's where I'm at. Those are my picks. You can also tail me in the Prize Picks app. And now you can even follow me on Prize Picks at Theovon. Prize Picks, it's good to be right. You know, Bitcoin hit an all-time high of $124,000 in August, which is wild considering that it was trading around $60,000 last year. When I need more Bitcoin, because I'm in. I go to MoonPay. Yep. MoonPay is always the first app that I open because it doesn't force you to buy a whole coin, and it's super easy to use. Now, I do want to say that MoonPay is one of the biggest partners of our show, which we're grateful for, and they've also allowed me to accept my payment from them in Bitcoin. Yep, that's how I'm doing it, instead of US dollars. I'm planning to hold and save that Bitcoin in my MoonPay account. The Bitcoin will sit in a digital MoonPay wallet that nobody can access except for me. Yup. The US dollar continues to fluctuate in value, so by making this decision, I'm diversifying my portfolio and hopefully earning more from our partnership than I would have otherwise. Remember, while MoonPay makes buying crypto straightforward, it's essential to do your own research and understand the risks involved. Crypto trading can be volatile, and you could lose your investment. MoonPay is a tool to facilitate your transactions, not a source of financial advice. Trade responsibly. Did you ever get that bad off with like your emotions, or were you always able to have some awareness with it?
I'm good now, but I used to dip in that. I was very like, growing up, I wanted to die to be with my dad.
Really?
Very badly, yeah. So I tried to, this is so fucking,
I think I was really when you said that also.
no, but I tried my first time when I was like 8, I tried to like grab myself, and then my mom, like, this is so dumb, but like found me the cool scene when I was trying to do it, and she took me to like a psych ward when I was like 8. So I've struggled with that, and then I kind of got out of it when I first started. I would say right around when I got SNL, because I didn't have many friends growing up, and it was my fault. Like I've said this before, where like I was suffering and I was super weird, and I was like, very visibly hurting. But kids don't know that that's what you're going through. They just think you're weird. Like they don't have this scope of.
Did you feel like a lot of like thoughts and stuff were trapped inside of you? Kind of, or did you feel like you can?
Yeah, it was like on a hamster wheel. It was like because I have OCD, and manic depression, so like it's just that's a horrible combo. And then you start doing drugs, and it's like good luck, you know.
You're a fucking slop.
Yeah, of depression and the worst stuff. And then I would like revert to that when I got sad. But then when I started doing stand-up, I kind of was like, I found like a group of weird friends. Artists are cool. And they understand like sadness. And a lot of them are like, not afraid to talk about that stuff.
Oh, yeah.
And I really like. And then there's this weird thing. I don't know if you really had this because I just fucking loves them as they should. But I had this thing where like I came out and everything really valid behind me. It was like, oh, this kid, what happened to me as a kid, and I was doing this, and that's super cool. It was like all going up, and then it flipped. And then it was like, fuck this dude. I don't like this dude. I hate this dude. And like, we're in the internet age, so I'm. Oh yeah. And then it brought me back to like childhood, high school, like not feeling like again.
Low self-worth attached to
Right.
all that other shit.
Then that shit started to pop back in, and then that's when I started like doing drugs. And then a year and a half ago, I was just like, I need to be okay if not all this goes away. Like it can't be for stand-up, it can't be for this movie, it can't be for this girl, it can't even be for my family. Like, I have to want to be okay. Otherwise, all this shit doesn't work.
Wow, dude, when you say that, it's so scary to me. Because I don't know if I could ever, like, even though I feel like I am, if there's a big part of me, the truth is, I don't know how I would feel if I didn't have somebody else's feelings to base it on, you know?
No, yeah, it's like,
Or if I didn't know how somebody else felt about me to base it on.
yeah, that's how I live. We're people pleasers.
Yeah, 100%.
We laugh at the please.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like watch my movie. Like when I go outside, take a picture. Like and then it
See, even if you call me a we can figure that out. Yeah. Or we can just say what you said.
Yeah.
But anyway, at least that's like
in the context that makes
Yes.
sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Only if it's during Pride Month and you mistook me for one of your best buds.
Yeah.
Yeah, not in like a regular.
No. You should stand by that.
Okay.
Yeah. But yeah, you can't. But that's a hard thing to. You're undoing for me is like 25 years of people pleasing. That's why I live. So I had to like learn how to be okay with this, and like also like a year and a half ago, like they were like, it's over, he's done.
You get the media tabloids, that type of shit.
Yeah, it was just like there was like articles that were like I smoked crack with my mom, and I was like, all right, like give me part of that. Like not all of that. Like
It's a two-bedroom.
it sucks when there's like four. It sucks when there's four things in the article that are wrong, but there's more of them. You're like, actually, yeah, that's fucking kind of true. But and I'm in rehab alone, reading this, and a lot of my friends, I would say I still have half of them, but a lot of them I think got to a point of my use and like how I was behaving, where they were just like, I love you, but like this is too much. Oh wow! And when that started happening, started happening with people where I was like, well, I don't give a fuck about you anyway. And then it started happening with like people I really cared about, and I was like, oh shit, it's me.
Dang.
You can only go it's everybody else for so long.
Yeah.
And until you're like, okay, I get it. And then, that was kind of it for me.
Was there a day you kind of turned it in, like I'm dropping the rock today, you know?
Oh, where just like I need to go.
Or were you just like, I'm gonna go definitely get some help, like, or was there like one conversation that kind of cemented it for you? Like, I guess, yeah, once you start to see, like, man, that person is stepping away from me,
Yeah.
because it's weird. Sometimes you want to make your outside, you want to make it match kind of how you feel on the inside. It's like,
That's exactly
I want you to leave me because I left me so long. In my mind, everybody left me so fucking long ago that the fact that you're even still around here fucking makes me not even respect you.
No, yeah.
In like a sick way, you know?
Yeah, and there's part of you that's probably, like, for me, I was like calling bluffs almost, where I was just like, I self-sabotage. Well, anybody that's ever actually loved me or cared about me has gotten the worst wrath from me.
Yeah.
It's few and far between, but when it happens, it's fucked up. But this whole like, fuck you, leave me, like, yeah, leave me. They started to. And I was like, oh shit, you're calling my bluff, and I love you, and I don't want you to go away. And then you go into therapy. You're abandoned. You can dig. This is from your childhood. You did this, and your grandpa did this, and now you're this. So like you got to do that sort of work. But yeah, got to that point where people I really fucking love. And also, my mom. You know, my mom's the most supportive person in the world.
She's a cool lady.
The best. I mean,
What's her name?
Amy. She's the best. Never dated.
She married a fireman, Amy.
Yeah, she's a nurse. Like, yeah, they met each other in grammar school, like super Staten Island.
I want to marry a nurse.
And my mom, look how cute my mom is.
Oh,
she's just a sweet lady. She never dated after my dad died. Just raised me and my sister like alone and worked hard. And she's been the most supportive ever. And it got to a point where she called me when I was really young. She was like, my biggest fear is that I will turn on the news and see that my son has died. And she's never been like that, like, you know, she's so supportive and just, you know, wants to always have positivity around.
Yeah, and she already lost something she loved.
Exactly, and that fucking, yeah, so like I was like, all right, you know, can't die until she's dead.
Yeah, all right, Amy.
Yeah, like, you got it. Yeah, like when that lady says that too, look at that lady. I mean, how are you gonna be like, I have to be a heartless fucking sociopath to not get my shit together.
You're like, okay, that's what I need.
Yeah, good lady.
Oh, that's cute, man.
Yeah, I'm a lucky guy in that respect. I have a really like supportive, cool family that has never asked me for anything, and they should, but they could, and a lot of them need
Fuck
stuff.
yeah, you bought Colin Jost that shitty boat.
Yeah.
You can't fucking get them something.
Can you imagine being one of my family members that's like living check to check? Then you read that. Sorry. Like I have, but I've offered to. I've offered to help, and they just go like, "Nah." That's,
Yeah, some people are like that.
and I love that. That's how
But
I
I
am.
think that, here's what I start to realize about family. I think they're joking. I think it's
Like they don't want you to be like, oh, because I'm always like, all right, but they want you to be like, no, I got this. Yeah.
yeah, dude. I think even just saying that makes me think I gotta help out my family a little bit more.
That's my Staten Island brother right there.
Hey, there you go. He's from Staten Island too.
Yeah, that's crazy. I mean, it's a good one.
We are.
It looks a little different.
A little more island,
Yeah, a little bit.
a little less Staten.
No, he's the best, man. He's a real good fucking dude.
Is he?
Oh, he's the best.